Much appreciate y'all, American people. How y'all doing today? So, today we'll be discussing our natural American nations. Right? I have a series of presentation points, documents, actual text, books, references that will be shown within this discussion and presentation. Um, this is to, let's say, recap, to represent, represent, to reacclimate, to reinforce, our American nation's descendants' position in regards to our presence on our land throughout this American continent here. Karen Williams, see you, appreciate your presence. So before I begin, I'm just gonna go ahead and run my intro real briefly and all of that. Definitely appreciate y'all. Here we go.
You're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right?
How we gonna do it? The hard way. How we gonna do it? The hard way. How we gonna do it? The hard way.
All right. Now, I'd like to play one more video. This is a classic for me, right? So this video was done, I want to say approximately 2017, Howard University, law school, where you had Cornel West and Malik Shabazz, and they was on a circus clown monkey shit. Their Negro project. All right, we go ahead and run it. Tomahawk Tony edition. Exclusive. Let's go.
Shit I gave you last week, nigga.
Yeah, you talk about it's 2022.
It's nothing, nigga. Nigga,
Yeah,
it's nothing.
really like
This
6,000
shit
plus.
Right here, nigga. This
Get
shit
it
right
poppin'
here,
though.
nigga. Right here.
What it
This
is.
shit, nigga. This shit
With the
here,
action
nigga.
at.
Does the attachment of the color black to power and nationalism undermine the copper-skinned indigenous Americans' recognition for their stolen land? And I'm defining this on the Noah Webster's definition in 1828 dictionary, which defines who the real American is.
All right, yes, let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and get it started. I'm gonna have to update that situation right there. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Appreciate y'all time and y'all presence. We're gonna do it like this. Gonna get the screen ready. There we go. All right, so this is from a document I shared some years ago, right? This is, if I recall the author's name correctly, Samuel Morton. All right. Now, some of you all may have seen this picture here, right? Where this is all about the races of the world, okay? And so to the left, we see the Mongoloid, Mongolian. In the center, we see the Xanthocroic, also known as Caucasian, right? To the top right, we see Australoid American, okay? Bottom left, Melanochroic Malay. Also say Malaysian, okay? And then to the bottom right, you'll see Negroid African, okay? Why is this important? Those four, Orientals, Arabs, and Africans, Euro-Afro-Asians, if you will, they have invaded our lands. This is why it's important. They all work together collectively. It's a unified position for them. We see it in our communities. It's unified. They come here, create communities. Their communities are held in trust. They contract business to business between the pale skin / Caucasians. They contract with the Africans. They contract with the Asians, so on and so forth, right? All the Arabs, everybody. They all contract with each other. They've always contracted with themselves, always amongst themselves, right? And within this contractual process that's been taking place, right? Right here throughout this American continent, we're taking losses. They're using our resources. Now, our natural American character is the fact that, we are very sharing. Like, we are very giving people. It's documented. Now, of course, we had numerous nations that were completely about war. Like, that's it. Like, they're not with that sharing shit, to say the least. They just not with it. And I would reinforce those nations and those particular American people's characteristics and behavior as being necessary, because we see where we're at today in 2023, right? So this is an old PDF here. I can email it to anyone interested. Shout out to Chief Z. He ascended some years ago. All right. He used to go to all the Washington, D.C. Redskin games, and he dressed as an Indian, and so he dresses our Virginia nations, representing for our American nations, peoples, and all of that. All right, for years. Look up Chief Z. That's Chief Z-E-E. Feel free to look him up if you're not familiar. But that's that guy. That's Chief Z right there. Very good guy, legendary figure there. Continuing. Go to get into some text real quick. So, as you see on the screen, I have a list of tabs with documents of various lengths. As always, I'm not trying to take too much of y'all time, but I definitely appreciate y'all presence as well as y'all time. Your attention, all of that. Let me zoom in some more. May have to update this PDF here. So look, this is on page 494, and it's dealing with the natural history of man, okay? This is chapter 22. And this is in book 2, and it's saying of the native races of America. So keep in mind something, right? When they say native, right, they're speaking from a natural context, okay? They're not speaking from the politically incorrect context, conjecture, if you will, that has been promoted because what is taking place here, this book was published before the formation of that Native American political party, where, those foreign immigrants, they're the ones who established that foreign, quote unquote, Native American political party, okay? And it's specifically saying here, native races of America. Let's continue here. Aboriginal people of America are generally considered as a department of the human family. I hate the term human because it means monster, having no inheritable land and all of that. But anyway, considered as a department of the human family, very distinct from the inhabitants of the old world. Clarity on that point. For one, our world is owed to us. This is ours, time immemorial, ancient, sacred land here. But in regards to the foreigners world, their world is owed to them. Same way our world is owed to us. That's just for context there. The insulated situation of the continent, okay? So our American continent is separated, it's insulated. We are surrounded by two waters. We got the what's called the Atlantic Ocean on one side, we got the Pacific Ocean on the other side, right? We are separated from Euro-Afro-Asia. To the right, when we look at these maps, we see Europe's over there. We see Africa's over there going into Persia, Arabia, what have you. That goes into Oriental territories, Asian nations' territories, and etc. On our left, across the Pacific, here it is, we have those Asian nations, right? So once again, this is for absolute clarity. The insulated situation of the continent and the fact that it was so long unknown, okay? Our continent, this American continent, was so long unknown, and the tribes which it contains so long cut off from intercourse, that means interaction with other nations, are among the circumstances which have contributed to produce this impression. The American nations, taken in the aggregate, are neither among themselves so uniform and unvaried in their physical and moral qualities, nor is the line of distinction between them and the rest of mankind so strongly marked and so obvious as most persons imagine. Okay? Yet it must be admitted that certain characters are discoverable which are common or nearly so to the whole of this Department of Nations, that there are strong indications, if not proofs, of a community of origin or a very ancient relationship among them. And that is surveying collectively the people of the New World. We contemplate the human nature under a peculiar aspect. On comparing the American tribes together, we found reasons to believe that they must have subsisted as a separate Department of Nations from the earliest ages of the world. Hence, in attempting to trace relations between them and the rest of mankind, we cannot expect to discover proofs of their derivation from any particular tribe or nation in the old continent. They cannot discover proofs. They cannot expect to discover proofs of us deriving from any particular tribe or nation in their continent, the Euro-Afro-Asia continent. All right? The era of their existence as distinct and insulated race, must probably be dated as far back as that time which separated into nations the inhabitants of the old world and gave each branch of the human family its primitive language and individuality. The traits which serve to characterize the Native Americans, and that's lowercase native you see there, by the way, collectively are, as I have said, not so obvious as by some are supposed to be. These nations are called red men, but there are tribes equally red, and perhaps more properly deserving the epithet in Africa and Polynesia. And the Americans are not all of the denominated red. That is of a copper color. Some tribes, as we shall see, are as white as many European nations, others brown or yellow, others are black, or at least they are by travelers described as being, as very much resembling the color of Negroes in Africa. I'm gonna pause right there for a moment. You see, once again, this is a recap here. This is a representing of pure truth, historical, anthropological, archaeological, ethnographical truth pertaining to our American nations, peoples. This here is omitted from current discussions, all right? This entire continent was populated by our American nations that came in all colors here, okay? The key with all of this is knowing what is yours. See, yesterday we had a young man. He said his people's from North Carolina. That's great. However, his people at whatever period, they migrated to New Jersey, was known as New Jersey today, right? He admitted that he learned in school and in his education of how to do research from these same schools that are eugenicist funded, eugenicist owned, controlled, governed, etc. Right? You know, after all these schools have their policies, correct? He was taught how to do research, which is not this level of research that we see on the screen right now. This is the purpose of me doing these presentations so that our youth can have a better experience. You understand? Please pardon the birds. Nature is very active down here in Georgia where I'm at. They're very excited doing what they do. But I'm going to prepare this link and I'm going to drop it in the chat. We want that well in some of your presence. There's a link. I will hear you if you do join. All right. Described as very much resembling in color the Negroes of Africa. Okay. Anatomists, people that study the quote unquote human anatomy, the body, have distinguished that they have termed the American form of the human skull, have distinguished what they have termed the American form of the human skull. That means that our skull structure, our skeletal structure is different. We have a separate form than that of the foreigners, the Euro-Afro-Asians. We have a whole separate skeletal structure. Our skull is different. They were led into this mistake by regarding the strongly marked characteristics of some particular tribes as universal. But see, they're correcting all of this now, right? However, this author here, he conducted his own studies into our skulls. And he has proven that our skulls, once again, are very distinct. Our characteristics are different. Early scholars, they wanted to claim that, oh, there's a universal skull structure and all of that. Nah. The American nations are spread over a vast space and live in different climates, and the shape of their heads is different in different parts. Nor will any epithet derived from their habits of life apply to all tribes of this department. The Native Americans are not all hunters. There are many fishing tribes among them. Some are nomadic, others cultivate the earth and live in settled habitations. And of these, a part were agriculturalists before the arrival of the Europeans. So when we hear these defamatory statements of, oh, the Indians didn't have this, they didn't have that, they were all savages, blah, 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 blah. Hey, yo, check it. No, that's the first thing for the truth. And this is just one text. As you see, I got numerous others. We're about to get into some things very soon. Once again, appreciate your time and your presence, right? Others have learned of their conquerors to till the soil and have changed the ancient habits of their race, which, as we may hence infer, were not the necessary result of organization or congenital or instinctive propensity. If we were to form a correct idea of the characteristic qualities which really form the bond of association between the American races and constitute their particular distinction, we must inquire somewhat more deeply into the subject. This gets very detailed. Very detailed. That's what I'm going to do for now, right? I'm going to jump over to this next text. This is the text we were just reading from here, the distinctive characteristics of the Aboriginal race of America. All right. Samuel George Morton, MD, author of Crania Americana. Salute to my guy, Standing Rock. Salute to the Accomack Indians. Salute to our Indians in that Virginia, Pennsylvania territory there. You know, it was Standing Rock. I was doing some research, and he referenced Samuel George Morton's work. And I was like, yo, much appreciation. Because there's so many texts out here, so many historical texts that, you know, are not popular. This is not popular. You know, I'm going to drop this title of the book in the chat because I didn't pull up the actual location for this book. All right. Let me see if I can copy that. Hopefully it's copied there. There it is right there. Yep. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Of the Aboriginal race of America. All right. That's what this is. That's what it's about. There you go right there. Feel free, for those interested, feel free to locate that text for yourselves and have this for your records. Very scientific book there. You know, the Pan-Africans, the Moors, etc., they don't deal with this type of text. It doesn't pertain to them for them to even be interested or intrigued enough to want to conduct this type of research, while yet and still they want to speak against our people, right? I'm going to get into sex and race, J.A. Rogers' text shortly. Okay? That's what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to jump over here to this Constantine Samuel Rafinsky text here, right? So this is titled Number 1, Spring 1836, The American Nations, or Outlines of a National History of the Ancient and Modern Nations of North and South America. Okay. First number or volume, Generalities and Annals by Professor C.S. Rafinsky, Philadelphia. Okay, 1836. Let me go to zoom out here just a little bit. Let me just note here, right? He was professor of historical and natural sciences, member of many learned societies in Paris, Bordeaux, Brussels, Vienna, Zurich, Naples, etc. in Europe, Philadelphia, New York, Cincinnati, Lexington, Nashville, etc. in America, the American Antiquarian Society, etc. He's a whole historian. And we're about to get into what he put into one of his books. This book here is 275 pages here. Tremendous information here. And our youth deserve it. They deserve to know this. Get into it. Let me see here. Yeah, right here. This is perfect. So, the origins and annals of the Black nations and of the American nations were two subjects quite obscure and neglected, or the least known of the history of mankind. Nobody, he's saying this in 1836, nobody has undertaken as yet the history of the Negro nations, a labor so difficult and luckless as to be despised. My memoirs of this despised race, listen to the language, may perhaps furnish the basis of such history. All the histories of America are mere fragments or dreams. I have perceived the possibility and necessity to write a general and faithful history of this hemisphere. This American continent, once again, has its own hemisphere. A hemisphere means half of a sphere. A sphere is a globe. It's circular. So let's continue. I now offer the results of this weary labor. You will perceive it, and you will perceive in it many things which have already been said. since it is impossible to write history without repetitions. It is impossible to write history without repetitions. But my plan, the whole point of view, and the results which I draw are my own. You will also find many things which were never told or were very improperly presented. I shall destroy many errors, hypotheses, and conjectures, since in them alone often consist our works upon America. This is what Constantine Samuel Ruffinsky said in 1836. Karen Williams, I have numerous books here. I can upload them to a Google Drive and make that available. These texts are like from a collection I gathered many years ago. So like right now, I'm just going off of my hard drive. Like I'm not even going off of a website right now. So if you look up the author's name, Constantine Samuel Ruffinsky, you'll see his numerous books. But I've combed through numerous of his books, and within all of these books, I have selected the initial books. This one is number one. As I was shown a moment ago, this is the number one, the very first one in 1836. And so this is why I'm referring to this one. But yes, that's what I'll try to do, is make these available via Google Drive shortly. Continuing. But I shall not say everything, where so much is to be related, all cannot be told, and I shall be compelled to neglect several minute details. I wish to trace faithful outlines rather than write a bulky work like our pretending universal histories. This is why I like Constantine Samuel Ruffinsky, because he was very honest in his literature. He literally wrote how dishonest, disingenuous, how other authors during his time and prior to his time, they were lying, literally. This was literary deceit and treachery against our American nations. And I appreciate him for being honest. Which, however, dwell only upon 1/3 of the globe or even less. So, like our pretending universal histories, which, however, dwell. So, the pretending universal histories are only upon 1/3 of the globe or even less. That's what he's saying. And this is a whole historian here. I dislike long quotations and shall seldom employ them. I quote only when authorities are required to render an opinion more forcible. Everywhere else, I merely give the abridgment of my great historical materials in manuscript, which are arranged by extracts of authorities and where they may be sought for in case of need. He cites sources, and very select sources to reinforce his messages. Hold on 1 second, yeah. Hey, good day. How you doing? What's up now, yo? Yeah, I seen it last night. I tried to call you back, yo. But check it. I'm in the middle of a live right now. Just tell me what's happening, though. What happened? I seen the message, but what's happening now? Okay, I'm gonna look into it. I'm in the middle of a presentation right now. I'm gonna get with that in a moment. Will you be available today? Okay. That's a bet. Have a good one, though. Yep. My apologies, y'all. My apologies. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Karen Williams, absolutely. I'll try to make that available today. I have multiple directories going back many years. I have things organized. However, what I'm reading from now is in a particular directory that I did in recent years, and it is like massive. So many directories is in it. So Like literally, it took me like an hour this morning to even prepare all the tabs you see on the screen right now, but it's all good. So yes, continuing, right? Where we at with it? He says very key things in this particular text here, right? I want to get straight to it. Give me one moment here. Because, you know, a lot of these authors, of course, they was under foreign religious influence, things of that nature. So I'm just trying to get past the rhetoric. All right. Things which have nothing to do with us. Let me see here. Scared. Da, 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 da. Okay, here we go. To accumulate materials without generalizing any idea is a method as sterile in history as in natural philosophy. The geology of America does not differ essentially from that of the foreign world. The strata and the immersion from the waters are not newer. Species long extinct have also preceded those now peopling the earth. Pay attention to the language here. Species, race, species, race and species. See, the foreigners, they like to promote race and racism and all of that. Meanwhile, in truth and reality, it is species and speciesism. I'll explain that another time. I've done past presentations on that, but for now, let's just proceed though. Just keep that in mind though. Racism versus speciesism. American is a distinct race and species. Okay. Anyway, the waters and the air. The problem of the first population of America is no more the province of history than the questions on the origin of plants and animals. Come on. Come on. All these foreigners, they want to say to us, yo, so where did your people come from? Yo, that's like asking where the birds came from, where the fish came from. Like, yo, we're distinct here. We come from here. If I tell you, a foreigner, that I come from here, take that for what it is. Because if I ask you, where do you come from? Oh, my people was born in Pittsburgh. Nah, motherfucker. No. Where did your people come from before they came here as an illegal immigrant? That's my question for you. Before your people was exiled to my land, where did you come from? You see what I'm saying? We come from the land. In our nation's creation stories, it literally says we come from the land. In numerous nations' creation stories, we come from the land. Indigenous 56 Ace was good. How you doing? We come from the land, period. We come from our land. We don't come from anywhere else. Foreigners come from everywhere else, not us. Continuing. When we shall better know the brown men of Africa. Look at that. He's blatantly calling them the brown men of Africa. With those of the north and east of Asia, the American nations will be less insulated. If Africa has 140 languages, America has still more. We have more languages than Africa has. To this day, we still have more languages. Yo, across the country, our people, they speak differently. You can relate to them based on how they speak. Like I was speaking to one of the peoples yesterday, right? So my peoples, they out there in LA, but they peoples from Chicago and Mississippi, right? And you know, our languages have evolved where, you know, on some hood shit, right? Over there in Chicago, they be like on fo in them, on bro in them, and all of that. In LA, they say on hood, so on and so forth, right? This is language. And these are variations of this American English language. That's just an example. I'm not going to get long-winded with that. But anyway, it's evident to this day. And there's even more definitive ancient languages that are spoken privately. Okay, continuing. Resembling in this the Caucasus, Italy before the Romans, but they are susceptible of classification into families. The multiplicity of languages is a very ancient phenomenon. Perhaps those which we call American belong no more to America than Magyar and Child or Finn to Europe. Yo, we have abundance here, always have had abundance. He cites Humboldt. That's a great historian there as well. I would definitely recommend you get into his literature, although biased. Anthony Lowe, appreciate your presence. How you doing today? If we desire to be fully informed of a nation's history, we must not reject the fables under which the few traces that remain of its origin are concealed, hidden. We must not reject the fables under which the few traces that remain of its origins are concealed. These, however extravagant, always merit attention. It deserves attention. They have an influence on the character of the people to whom they relate. They have omitted, where we at right now? All these people in media, whether social media or corporate media, right? They're concealing from their audience the truth in regards to our American nations. And we're the ones in which this information relates to. Look, the Chinese often call the king, the kingdom, and the nation by the same name, Nai. Even also the capital city. Continuing, the cradle or first seat of mankind was in Asia, between latitude 30 and 50, which is also the native place of all the domestic animals, fruits, and grains. That pertains to them, though. Genesis was a compilation of Moses from older annals, some perhaps by Noah himself. That's Reverend Mr. Davies Herder. The patriarchs of Moses and Petries of Hindus were nations, personifications of early tribes. That has nothing to do with us. But it says the patriarchs of Moses and Petries of the Hindus. Moses was a Hindu. Continuing. The early gods and kings of Greece and Italy were probably tribes, the chiefs and followers being called by the same name. So I got a question there, right? How is it that here in our North American, quote unquote, United States of American public school system, even private school system, we got a whole goddamn, world history class and got a whole goddamn Greek panthology being taught. Zeus and Hera, Herodotus, and all of these foreigners our youth have been taught about. And then we also got the Greek letter organizations that have conspired against our people, simultaneously taking place. They praise their gods and goddesses. And what does it say right there? Let's run it back again. We're probably tribes, the chiefs and followers being called by the same name. Their early gods and kings of Greece and Italy were probably tribes, the chiefs and followers being called by the same name. This is true also of the various Hercules or wandering heroes. Find them by the languages, the Americans will appear to be the children of the earliest human families. This is the fraud that's being done against us, okay? This is foreign influence. And once again, this is why I appreciate Konstantin Samuel Ruffinsky and his literature, because he was very honest. He's given us a whole comparative analysis within the preface of his book here. A flood of historical light has lately flown from quote-unquote India and Asia, but we lack still the real annals of Tibet. Polynesia and America may yet supply many facts and fill some blanks. The original seat of civilization was between the Ganges and the Nile, the Caspian and the ocean. The first tribes after the flood were fishermen and frugivorous. I don't know Yeah, I'm not going to look that up right now. Next hunters who did spread northeast as far as America. And so he's referencing these past authors, this Pritchard, Physical History of Man. But this is what we're going to do. Let's go on and fast forward because, yeah, it gets very interesting here. He makes some profound statements. Once again, he's referencing all these other authors prior to his literature. Okay? Let me find this here. Because he says they was lying. That's what we're about to get to. He says they were lying. They may be analyzed as follows from his own summary. If the records of antiquity could be deprived of their authority, we should also be deprived of intelligence, liberty, and religion. Dates are of little importance, being anciently expressed by letters. They are liable to errors. See, this is a scientist here. This is a historian. And he's being very honest. Speeches and secret motives do not belong to history. Speeches and secret motives do not belong to history. They are ornaments of rhetoric or mere surmises. This is what the Pan-Africans, the Moors, and all these foreigners do. Their speeches and their secret motives do not belong to history, and damn sure not our American nation's history. Absolutely not. Facts are only to be intended to become more certain if corroborated by monuments, inscriptions, coins, etc. Yo, our people have artifacts. We must, as the youth, coordinate with our elders. They preserve time. This is very important. The silence of a historian does not invalidate the assertions of others. Contradictions, exaggerations, prejudices, party spirit, national dislike must be allowed for. The arrogance of the Greeks and Chinese, who call barbarians nations as good as they, is shameful and must be noticed, as well as errors arising from hiding defeats, etc. Look at that. Errors arising from hiding defeats. What's that quote? To history, he who writes history is the victor. So hold on, the victors never lost. Let's take what's that dude's name? What's his name? Goddamn. Oh my goodness, I'm Andrew Jackson. Yeah, I'm thinking about Alexander. Pardon me, I'm thinking about Alexander, but Andrew Jackson. Yo, he was defeated. Our ancestors defeated Andrew Jackson. But what did he do when he was defeated? On his way back to the Virginia region, he burnt down our villages as a coward. You lost on the battlefield, but then you're going to destroy our homes where our women and children were? That's not popularly documented, though. History's not going to reflect Andrew Jackson and his soldiers that were of a mixed breed. You know, he had pale skins as well as black skins within his army, right? Moors served, Moriscos, Marranos, they served in Andrew Jackson's army against our American Indian nations. This is omitted from history. Let's continue. The independent sources of history besides writers are: 1, remains of literature; 2, chronological documents and astronomical calculations. Yo, what's that mean? Yo, were your people writing? Did your people maintain a chronology of records? Yeah, Charles Clark. Andrew Jackson went in front of the tribunal. Word. Are your people maintaining chronological documents. You know, that's genealogy. Stories pertaining to your people. Have we even had an opportunity to do this, but we've been at war throughout every generation since this invasion occurred. Uh-oh, look at that. Here we go, Charles Clark. Appreciate you. Let me drop the link in the chat. Charles Clark, are you available to share some insight in that? Because I've never been to West Point. I've heard West Point Academy. That's a military college or military academy for those that are unaware. West Point. If you would like to share some more perspective on this West Point reference you just provided there, feel free to jump onto the live. I would definitely like to hear from you. Let's continue. The astronomical calculations. So what does that mean? That means the location of the moon, the position of the sun, the stars, etc., at the time of your arrival or the time of events that took place here within our lands and territories. Natural features of nature and mankind with permanent physical facts, permanent institutions, manners, monuments, languages, etc. Lastly, remote facts may be certain, although a long while elapsed. Whatever be the consequence, and even if the first evidence may have been erroneously transmitted or not perspicuous, but accumulated evidence ought never be doubted. Accumulated evidence ought never be doubted. We cannot doubt accumulated evidence. So, what he's saying here, right, from a scientist, a scientific, historical standpoint. Remember, he's a historian. Konstantin Samuel Ruffinsky, he's a whole historian. Numerous societies, international, as well as right here in North America, back in the early 1800s. Yo, he's reinforcing the fact, your genealogy records, that's accumulated evidence, and it can never be doubted. This is scientific fact here. This is the scientific process. Gathering data. And understand, you know, a lot of people, they have difficulty doing genealogy. Once upon a time ago, I did too. I'm not going to lie. My peoples told me things in my youth, but guess what? I'm going to school. I'm being forced to go to school every day. I wasn't forced to sit around my elders and learn directly from my elders. No, we've been effectively colonized. We have 100 solid years of this advanced colonization, this industrial revolution, etc. I'm not making excuses for nothing, but I'm just letting you know. I'm just informing you. Yo, our attention, our focuses have been diverted, and these are all military strategies of war. Because if you're not able to pass on the stories of, if you're not able to maintain tradition, heritage, culture, customs, etc., you're focused purely on survival, right? Guess what? History, culture, etc., it's reduced. How can you preserve something when you're trying to preserve your life? You're trying to preserve your existence. I got some other text coming up soon. I'm going tab for tab with all these old PDFs here. I'm going tab for tab with these old PDFs here, right? Let's continue. Chapter 1. General introduction, natural regions of America, ancient and modern nations, historical periods. Since our globe is better known, it is no longer divided into 4 continents, but must be divided into 3 great parts of the world, or thalameres, each containing 3 lesser divisions, or geotomes. Woo, you hear that? You hear that? They want to call Africa a continent. How can Africa be a continent when it's connected to Europe and Asia? Huh? Anyone telling you that Africa is a continent They have a serious comprehension problem. And I'm speaking in regards to these so-called scholars. I'm talking about these so-called influential scholars out here. Or people claim to be scholars and they want to call Africa a continent. That's not a continent. A continent is a single landmass. That region they call Africa is connected to Europe and Asia, correct? Hence, Euro-Afro-Asia. Continuing. It says, Protholia, or Tholarkin, the ancient world containing Asia, Africa, Europe. He says here, which are continents. He says that, however, that's Euro-Afro-Asia in reverse. That's Asia, Africa, Europe. That's one landmass. Then we have Neotholia or Hesperia, the New World containing Italia or North America, to Colombia, South America, which are two continents. Do you see, like, they was working with the information that was present during this time. However, this is like nearly 200 years later. We're not too far from 2036. We're not too far. All right. That's 13 years away. All right. But within this time, guess what? We got Google Maps and a series of other mapping, satellite mapping technology present where we can see how the landmass is what it truly is. Okay. Imagery and all of that. Let's fast forward through all of this. It is of Neotholia that I write the history of this third of the world, named likewise America, or the two Americas, a double continent, crowned in the east and towards the two poles by archipelagos. Such an extensive part of the world, reaching nearly to both poles, offers to our notice and researches a crowd of objects, nations, and events. If our universal histories, which are confined to a small part only of the old world, form already bulky collections, it will be equally so with America. That means that we have our own over here. And theirs is bulky, ours is bulkier. If they say that America represents 1/3 of the entire world, that means the foreigners represents 2/3. So why is it that we're being flooded with 2/3 of the world population? They're sending, they're distributing their people to our territories throughout this singular American continent. This is one continent here. These are active problems for us. Our ancestors didn't have the luxury to communicate via social media in the 1800s, this text that was published in 1836. We couldn't broadcast this text here the way we can now to provide clarity on things. Please fast forward a little bit. This is all within the introduction of the book, all within the introduction. He gets very detailed within this text here. Oh yeah, here we go. This where it gets, yeah, this is crazy. And proceeding from the known to the unknown, we ascertain that a multitude of nations have come to America since 1492 as colonists or visitors. I was reading this the other day, but let's run it back again. As colonists or visitors, principles were: 1, Spanish, who have colonized or conquered from New Mexico to Chile, and from Florida to Buenos Aires. But they came not alone and have brought along with them as auxiliaries. The Spanish brought Italians, they brought Flemish, they brought Biscayans, Canarians, etc., while as slaves, Moors of Mauritania, and 6 many African Negro nations. So this means that they didn't travel directly from Africa over here. No. Remember, Spain was a dominant military power during this 15th century period. Look up the Spanish Armadas. Those were large warships. The Italians were subjugated by the Spanish. The Flemish, the Biscayans, the Canarians, etc. They all were subjugated by the Spanish. Look into the history of King Ferdinand. His wife, Isabella. The Castilian kings and princes and princesses. Look into them. Look into the Inquisition, the expulsion of the Moors, the subjugation of the entire European region. They subjugated them. They dethroned the Moors, who had declared war upon them centuries prior. Star, appreciate your presence. How you doing today? Thank you for tuning in. That's the Spanish there. While they're slaves, they brought Moors of Mauritania. That's North Africa. And many African Negro nations. Nothing to do with our American people, by the way. And all of these parties in which you see listed there, they all serve not only as visitors and colonists, but also as soldiers against us. Okay? Portuguese, who have colonized the whole of Brazil and brought there, besides many Negro nations, some Moors, Gypsies, Chinese, etc. I read this other day, y'all. But that's recap. The English, who have colonized the whole eastern side of North America. So when reading that text there, right? Shout out to, I'm trying to remember her name real quick. Tiffy. Yeah, salute to Tiffy. She came on yesterday and she was saying how, you know, you got the term New Jersey, New England, etc., right? Well, these are English terms, right? They came here, they colonized by putting their names on everything. They made claim to the land by putting their name on it. Land that already had a name, by the way. All of this has a name. Everything. Whatever city, county, state, territory that you're in, you can look up the Indian name. You can do that research. Real simple. Look up the original name for the territory that you're in. You're going to see the American nations in which not only inhabited that territory, you also see their language and the name from their language of that territory. Continuing. English, who have colonized the whole eastern side of North America, Jamaica, and other islands of Antilles, with parts of Yucatan, Honduras, Guyana, etc. But they have brought with them the Welsh, the Scotch, that's the Scottish, the Irish, Germans, Jews, and many African nations. Damn, so hold on. You mean to tell me them Africans was brought from Europe, right? It was brought from Europe. They were Moors, Morisco Moranos. I got text on that. I'm about to show y'all shortly. Just bear with me, y'all. This might be a lengthy live today. Might be lengthy. I'm not trying to take too much of y'all time. However, I'm just trying to reinforce and represent, recap. Since we got so many people on social media that want to play word games and you know, disrupt the natural intelligence of our people. They want to utilize AI, artificial intelligence manufactured by eugenicists, corporations, and scientists, etc., against our people to revise our histories, to disrupt our natural perception of ourselves and our environments, therefore compromise our duties and responsibilities to ourselves, our land, the Great Spirit, our ancestors, etc., especially to our youth. We need our natural intelligence. So this here is a recap to reinforce you to recapture your own intelligence, your own natural intelligence, that is, right? Let's continue. The French, 4. They colonized Canada, Louisiana, Haiti, several Carib nations, several Carib islands, Cayenne and Guyana, etc. And although conquered in North America and Haiti, their language remains. Although conquered in North America and Haiti, their language remains. Continuing. They brought along the Provençals, the Britons or Bretons, the Basques, speaking distinct languages speaking distinct languages with several African nations. Damn, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, and the English is bringing Africans with them. Yo, how come the Pan-Africans don't ever mention none of that? They don't mention none of that. They don't mention the nations that brought them. They don't mention them, those that brought them. They came with them as colonists. They came with them as visitors. But they want to sell this sad slave story. Oh, you're an exile, and we're supposed to pity you? Our ancestors pitied them, and now look what happened to us as a result of our mercy towards them. We was merciful towards them. Some of us were. Some of our nations was. We saw deprived people, they shipwrecked. Some others, they was being dropped off. They were whole exiles. And we pitied them because of their deprived condition. They didn't know how to hunt here. They didn't know how to fish here. They didn't know how to do nothing here. They didn't know how to grow anything here, so on and so forth. It took them time to bring over people that could assist with those civilized arts. But meanwhile, we already have those civilized arts here. We know how to hunt, we know how to fish, build cities, the whole nine. In this book right here that we're reading from, we're about to get into that shortly. Once again, y'all appreciate your time and your presence. I'm just enjoying the moment. It's early a.m. before I get into some work. It's 11 a.m., by the way. Time progression. Continuing. Of Scandinavians who partly settled in North America since the 10th century. Ooh. Look up Eric the Red. The Vikings that was sent back. They came over here trying to enslave our people within the North American, Canadian regions, you know, the Netherlands and all of that. Man, yo, they got smashed early. They came over here trying to do some kidnapping for some slavery nonsense, and they got sent back, barely alive. But they made it back, though. The few that lived, they made it back. And so since they had a vendetta against us, all of us. Okay, says there. Did laterly colonize again Greenland, with Delaware and some Carib islands. They include the Norwegians, Danes, and Swedes. Yo, all these names that we're reading here, for those that are legal minded, right? You know, that are good with legal filings, things of this nature. Isn't this evidence of a claim against these foreigners? Isn't it? I mean, this is historical record here. Their government records even reflect what we're reading here. You see? That's the work that they want to prevent us from getting to. They want us to focus on these so-called African slaves and, you know, the abuses of the African slave trade. And, yo, what about Indian slavery? What about the fact that these foreigners came here, called Indians Africans, called Indians Negroes, so they could rob us? And they use Africans with everyone else to do this. The same way they're doing it right now. All these literal Negropean, Morisco, Marano descent, all those individuals you see on television, here on radio, now social media, the W.B. Du Boises, the Benjamin Banneker's, and, you know, all these various characters, Sojourner, so-called Truth, and all of this, right? Yo, what's their genealogy? Are they our people, or are they the foreign people that we're reading about right here? The Ivan Van Sertima's. I showed y'all Ivan Van Sertima. He's a Dutch Moor. Ivan Van Sertima, who these Pan-Africans love to praise. He's a Dutch Moor. Go find it for yourself. It's in his name. Look up the Sertima lineage. Continuing. 6 Dutch Hollanders. They come from Holland. Right? Sent colonies to New York, Suriname, Corozal, etc., brought gypsies, Germans, and Africans. The Dutch brought Africans too. Damn, so hold on. If we're reading this, how come these Pan-Africans aren't seeking reparations from all of these nations being referenced right here? It didn't say nothing about the United States. This is 1836 we're reading from. It didn't say nothing about the United States bringing anybody over here. Nah. United States was formed by all of them. How about that, though? That's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the fact. Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, etc. We just read the words of former President James Buchanan. He said that he's a British subject. The British brought Africans. I just read that part. Continuing. Russians have invaded and partly settled the northwest shores and islands of North America, bringing their Cossacks, Kalmucks, and several other Tartarian subjects. That means slaves. Tartarian subjects, slaves. Besides these, several other nations have laterally visited America or settled therein, blending with the above. Blending with the above. That means that they have mixed, contracted with, mixed bloodlines with. Yo, when they say America, the melting pot, yeah, that's what done happened here. All these foreigners, they came over here and they continued crossbreeding. That's an additional dimension of eugenics. That's additional fact and factor of eugenics. All right. All the nations of Europe, even Hungarians, Polanders, that's the Polish, Greeks and Turks, that's the Turkish, that's Greece, have been brought there. Pirates of all nations. Even Algerians have wandered to America. Almost all the nations of Africa have been led there in slavery. But what kind of slavery? Mama Chief, appreciate your presence. How you doing? Almost all nations of Africa have been led there in slavery, but hold on. What kind of slavery is this, though? I mean, we're talking about people that were exiled. All of these people that are abandoning their lands of origin, they don't want to go back. They have nowhere to go back to be honest. They sent criminals here. This is documented. If they sent criminals here, why could they be allowed? Why should they be allowed to go back? They was told to get out. This is the problem. This is our American nation's dilemma. They sent pirates of all nations. Run that back real quick. Who will make a perfect pirate? A slave? Who would make a perfect pirate? A slave? Who will make a perfect pirate? A criminal? Who will make a perfect pirate? An exile? Put the three of them together. What you get? The perfect type of pirate. And they've been crossbreeding. Pirates of all nations, it says. So, popular terminology that's present today is the terminology of terrorist, right? Terrorist, extremist. Yo, all these places that we just named here, they have terrorists and extremists. All of them have their own terrorists and extremists. Once upon a time ago, they was known as pirates. That's the truth of the matter. Let's continue. Oh, man. Asia has sent Jews. Look, pay attention. Asia has sent Jews, Hindus, Gypsies, or Zinganis, Chinese, and Tartars, while Oceania has sent Malays, Madagascars, Hawaiians, etc. This well-known fact of the various and anomalous modern population of both Americas within 3 or 4 centuries will greatly help us to form a more correct estimate of the ancient population and colonization of such vast countries during many thousand years previous to 1492. Yeah. We've been overran. We have been effectively invaded. Once again, the title of this is Our Natural American Nations Discussion. Let me drop the link in the chat again. Feel free to share your thoughts. Feel free to share your statements, to voice your experiences, things of that nature. My platform has always been open. Just don't come with no circus clown monkey shit, because I don't entertain it. We're dealing with real serious subject matter here, as always. Continuing. It is not yet suitable to give here a complete list of all the ancient nations who have or may have colonized the Western Hemisphere. That's the American Hemisphere. This can only be done afterwards as a result of the instituted inquiries on the subject. Meantime, I state it's highly probable, even by mere analogy, that all the nearest nations of the Atlantic or Pacific Oceans in the Eastern Hemisphere have either visited or colonized the Americas, particularly from the east. The bold navigators, Atlantes, Pelagians, Phoenicians, Libyans, Etruscans, etc. And from the west, the ancient tribes of Tartars and Chinese and Polynesians, etc. Yo, those are foreigners. Those are all foreigners. They have either visited or they have colonized. Keep in mind something. Each of those referenced there, right? Each of those referenced there. One, they're foreigners. Two, they come from a background of warfare within their own nations of origin, from their own regions of the world of origin, from their world. They brought their customs, their culture, etc., which has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with us, and therefore it should not be emphasized more than our American nations. Our American nations are not emphasized where they come from, so why should theirs be emphasized here where we come from? You understand that logic? Does that make sense? You cannot go anywhere in this world, especially right now. You can't go to Hindustan and try to dominate all of those nations of people, all those tribes of people over there. You can't do that. You don't have the resources enough to do it. You got to have those people in agreement to do it. Yo, Mama Chief, what you said, it says Western Hemisphere. We are the Western Hemisphere. We are the Western Hemisphere. Pull up a map. You'll see the left is the West. The East is Euro-Afro-Asia. You'll see it. The West is to the left. It shall appear also that these early settlers must have brought along many foreign tribes as auxiliaries, vassals, or slaves. Vassal and slave is synonymous. It's just a vassal is a super slave, I would say, based on definition. I'm gonna fast forward. You know, this book once again. This text here gets very detailed. The American Nations, Konstantin Samuel Ruffinsky, his text gets very detailed. Okay. I'm trying to find something very specific to show y'all. In one moment here. I'm almost there. Let's read this part. What is now needful is to trace these colonies, their travels, epics, and ascertain the nations which they have produced in both Americas. This I will endeavor to do without being prevented by the difficulties of the task. I shall always seek to ascertain the true names of each nation or tribe. Yo, that's key right there. Yo, seek always seek to ascertain the true names of each nation or tribe, which have often been disguised under a crowd of nicknames and erroneous orthographies, erroneous oration, erroneous people talking, people telling lies. These names, when thus restored, will often furnish an original key to supply the scarcely known languages or lost traditions. This is why I am anti-ethnocide. Because all this black shit, every time you hear that is ethnocide. They just killed your language when they called you black. They killed your origins. They destroyed your origins. They just blacked you out of history. You have been red-acted verbally. And it happens over and over and over again. Because guess what? If you don't know how to do proper research, if you don't know how to maintain proper records, guess what? Yo, it's been blacked out. It's been completely blacked out. Entire YouTube channels are blacking out our American nation's history right now. The languages, the names of the nations, the tribes, the chiefs, the descendants, the heirs, etc. Ultimately, the land is being blacked out and whitewashed. That's the strategy in the nutshell. To black out and then whitewash. To black out and then whitewash. Fast forward, what do you see right now going on? Across the country, we have these Hispano-Arab, Ladino, they want to call them Latino, they want to call them Mexican, but they're not Mexican. They're not. They're Hispano-Arabs in origin. Okay, they're Chinos. And a series of other Spanish caste system crossbreeds of Euro-Afro-Asians that were exiled here centuries ago. Right? Once again, we just read the list of who they brought. We read the list. But they are a crossbreed. And we see these crossbreeds setting up their taco, burrito, little restaurants, etc., right here in North America. In previous decades, I saw in my youth how, foreigners wanted to say, yeah, California is really Mexico. Yo, what? Man, California is really the name of those California Indians. That's what I say. New Mexico, why gotta be New Mexico? You look at Old Mexico, Old Mexica, right? You see numerous civilizations throughout that territory there, huh? Numerous civilizations, numerous nations, cultures, etc., right? Teotihuacan. And the list goes on. Toltecs. Everybody want to promote the Olmecs. Okay, that's cool. But there was nations prior and then after going into right now who are descendants of those, once again, prior to the Olmecs. But that's pertaining to that particular region. And that particular region of nations and Indians of American races, right? Our American race was there, and they was working with numerous other nations into where I am currently in Georgia. Huh? There's documentation of all of this, historical record for all of this. Why is this being systematically omitted from our youth when these foreigners want to tell these highly flawed and erroneous slave stories? This is unacceptable behavior. And we have a duty to correct all of this. Look at this. The brigands Yo, a brigand is a slave soldier. Let me show you. Brigand. Let me pull up a new tab real quick. Brigand. Member of a gang that ambushes and robs people in forests and mountains. See that? Now look. It says here, similar, the synonyms are bandit, robber, outlaw, ruffian, desperado, marauder, raider, highwayman, criminal, thug, gangster, pirate, freebooter, decoy, etc. Now let's look at brigandry. Brigandry, okay? A robber or bandit, especially one of an outlaw band. Okay? Now, going a little bit further. See, I done did this over some time ago. Brigadier. Brigadier. See, Google done changed over the years. Brigadier General. Let's do that. Look. Oh, Brigadier. My bad. Look. Brigadier is all related. A brigade. They are Brigadier General is a senior officer in the armed forces who's often in charge of a brigade. Brigands were soldiers. These thieves, murderers, plunderers, bandits, robbers, essentially what you would call a thug. They was organized into gangs, military, against our American nations. You have the guy. Let's go to correct that term right there. Brigadier General. What's his name? Albert Pike. Albert Pike. He had slave soldiers. Look. Was commissioned as a brigadier general. He had brigands. He had gangs of soldiers. All right. He formed the KKK. He was with the Scottish Rite Masonic Lodge. He worked with the Prince Hall African Lodge. He was also a lawyer during the period of the 1860s treaty signings between Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Creek, etc. nations, treaty signings with the United States. All right. Anyway. He has slave soldiers with him. A slave will be manumitted after serving in the army. Okay? This is all historical fact here. Take a look into it. Let me go ahead and get up out of there real quick. Uh-oh. I just killed that page. My apologies. Let me pull that back up. Didn't mean to kill that text. Try to get back to the page there. Yeah, how y'all doing today, though? This is so important. My word, this is so important. You all to be aware that our American nations are distinct from all others. And it is vital that we are able to communicate amongst ourselves first, that we are distinct from all of these foreigners that want to come over here and claim to be American. No, American is a race, and we are that American race. The brigands who brought desolation over both Americas during 2 centuries, and the careless travelers who visited them in search of wealth, took little notice of the languages and traditions of their victims or foes. See, when I study, I connect these terms. Associated doing etymology and all of that, right? Brigand, brigandry, general, soldiers, slaves, robbers, thieves, murderers, rapists, the whole 9, all in one word there. And our ancestors didn't know this what the foreigners composed. Yo, our warriors did not know that this is what they was fighting prior to them fighting them. Had we knew then what we know now, we would have treated them all much differently. Fast forward, our descendants know now what we didn't know then. This is why it's priority for us to study these old texts, to have people presenting these old texts correctly. There's too much misinformation out here. That's a part of foreign military strategies of war, military science, if you will. Distraction, sabotage, etc. Let me go through this text real quick. Look. What does it say right here? Thus, it is a positive fact that many ancient nations of the East, such as the Libyans, Moors, Etruscans, Phoenicians, Hindus, etc., had heard of America or knew nearly as much of it as we did of Australia and Polynesia 100 years ago. They heard about it, but they're not from here. You heard about it, but you're not from here, though, huh? You got no claim here. As a Libyan, as a Moor, Etruscan, Phoenician, Hindu, etc., as a Euro-Afro-Asian, you may have heard about us, but you ain't us, though. And as a result of you not being us, right, you have no place speaking against us on our land. Take your ass back to where you come from, and you speak against us from where you come from amongst your people over there, so we can clearly see what the fuck is going on. You see? It's a problem when we have foreigners posing as though they're our brother, sister, with the makeup on their faces, hair done, nails done, everything dead, rat poisoned the fuck out, wearing their costumes, etc. Behind the scenes, a part of whatever secret societies, right? And they're calling you via media, who they're contracted with, whatever foreign corporation, they're descendant of real life slaves. They're descendants, they are a vassal. They are a slave. And they're communicating to our people, they've been designated for such, to communicate to our people, brother, sister, we shall overcome, motherfucker. Hold on. You're not included in this we factor. Not once did they say American. No, they said black. And then in regards to America, they want to say America got to pay for the wrongs against these African slaves, the descendants of African. Now hold the fuck up here. No. That's correct, all of this. Our American nations are not responsible for the corruption of all these foreign nations. I just listed them. Spain, the Portuguese, the English, the Flemish, the Dutch, Hungarians, Scandinavians, etc., and whoever else they was contracted with from Euro, Africa, Asia. We had nothing to do with them. We had nothing to do with the building of those ships to exile their people, to pass laws in their nations of origin, which will condemn them to be penal colony exiles, to be sent to our lands. We had nothing to do with that. So for them to condemn America, and America is ours as the American nation's descendants, right? That is highly flawed. It is erroneous. It is a fraudulent. It is defamation of character. Highly defamatory. Highly defamatory. And we cannot allow these communications to continue. We see where it has gotten us today, where our youth are confused right now. More confused than they was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago. The confusion has advanced. Once again, y'all, this is military science. Numerous nations' militaries have conspired against us. I showed y'all the CIA AMSAC information. I showed y'all that. I showed y'all how the CIA, the heights of the crack era in the 1980s, the CIA invested hundreds of millions of dollars yearly into HBCUs. I showed y'all that. I can show it to y'all again if you like. Put a one in the chat if you want me to show it to you again. This is an ongoing conspiracy, covert war against our American people. It's ongoing. Continue. Now the book about to get funky. Let me zoom in on this text. There were formerly in America as now tribes of all complexions as elsewhere, yellowish, olive, coppery, tawny, reddened, browned, incarnate or whitened, even blackened or Negro-like. These are Americans. These are the appearance of our tribes, of people from our nations, our American nations. These are just a complexion. All complexions as anywhere else in the world. This is why it's essential that we communicate to each other as nations. It's essential that our youth knows their nations. And law, the child inherits the status of the mother. I'm about to show y'all some other texts coming up shortly. This is legal text. 1800 situation coming up very soon. All right. Now, continue when it says tall and dwarfish men from 8 to 4 feet in size, called giants and pygmies. Men with various frames, skulls, and features, all of those sorts found in the Eastern Hemisphere. The foreigners are comparing us to where they come from. They're like, damn, they got all the colors, they got all the heights. God damn. But they're American. Yes, we are American. And we come in all complexions and we come in all sizes, motherfucker. Yes, that's the truth. Absolutely. Let's continue. The Americans, that's us, had long before Columbus large cities built of stones, bricks, or wood, with walls, ditches, temples, palaces, some of which were of immense size and population. Are you listening? Once again, y'all, this is 1836. Yo, we've had cities prior to 1836 built of stones, and these were large cities built of stones, bricks, or wood, with walls, ditches, temples, palaces. We are those Americans. And once again, We've been colonized. Foreigners have claimed all of our structures. They've destroyed so many of our cities. They've destroyed so many of our towns and villages, etc. We had plumbing here. They took our plumbing system. And they want to sell the water networks to all the foreigners that they exiled, therefore importing / drop shipping, so they can pay for all these corporate foreign government nation sponsored activities commercially. You see? They wanted to transition to us, all the brigands, all the robbers, all the thugs, all the criminals, all these foreigners. They wanted to transition us into being an American Indian, an Aboriginal American, an Autochthonous American, an Indigenous American. They want to transition us into being Negro, colored, mulatto, etc. And to blacken out our truth and our reality. To put before our people, some foreigners, some blacks, the real blacks, from very specific foreign nations that will communicate ethnocide, active ethnocide within each generation against us. Nearly all the ancient sciences and useful primitive arts were known in America. Nearly all the ancient sciences and useful primitive arts were known in America, as well as commerce and navigation, symbolic and alphabetic writing, nearly all the Asiatic religions, etc. The most civilizations had even colleges and universities, canals and paved roads, splendid temples and monuments, etc. It would be tedious to designate all what has not been told or been very unworthily noticed upon America. The whole of these outlines shall be comments upon the forgotten facts relating to this third of the world, such as are found recorded by chance in one or few authors scattered in 1,000 volumes, unsought and unnoticed by nearly all the other writers. Oh, they want to omit our truth, our history, our legacy, etc. They want to omit it. They want to blacken it and then whitewash it. Black it out, then whitewash it. Continuing. Respecting the chronology of the American annals, it is rather obscure and doubtful, but perhaps not more so than that of all the ancient nations except the Chinese. It frequently ascends as far as the floods and even the creation. The most ancient dates are found among the Tolls or the Toltecas and Atlantes, the Mexicans or Aztecas, the Muiscas, the Onguis, the Lenapes, etc. But it's difficult to make those dates agree among themselves or with our Oriental dates. However, the American annals may be divided into great periods, which can be admitted as certain and resting points of history at peculiar epochs of time. And he goes into a whole list of periods, comparing what he calls, here is the American tabular view, ancient history ending with Columbus in 1492, and to the Diluvian period, beginning at the creation about 6,690 years before Columbus, according to the Tolls. That's the Toltecs. Yeah, this book destroys Pan-African ideology. indoctrination, etc. This one book single-handedly does it. It describes whoever these Pan-Africans praise as being nothing but colonists and visitors. Illegal migrants, illegal immigrants, to say the least. Let's continue. And proceed with this text. I'm gonna have to refer to some past presentations because there's some elements here that I would like to communicate, but I just don't have the time right now to locate them. Once again, I'm not trying to take too much of y'all time. I want to cover all of this as, once again, a recap. All right. Where we gonna go next? We got that. Yep. Look. Moriscos of Spain. Their conversion and expulsion. Yo, have you ever heard these Pan-Africans tell the story of how they was forced to convert to Christianity? Huh? You never heard that story from them? Reason why this is important is because, once again, these are the brigands, the robbers, the thieves, the murderers, the rapists, all of that. Historically. To this day, you saw what happened with the dude, quote unquote, brother Polite, his predecessor, who he praises, Malachi York, those within their networks. Elijah, so-called Elijah Muhammad, that wasn't his birth name. No, he changed his name, like the Moors encourage everybody to do. Change your name, change your name. Yeah, name change. The filth is real out here. Foreigners come to America and they get a whole new identity. They act brand new, yet and still they do the same criminal shit that got them sitting here to begin with, huh? Amongst our people, and guess what? Yo, where's our departments at to properly assess who has been invited into our communities? Who is present within our communities that is not of our communities, that's trying to insert themselves into our communities? As Indians, we are the ones that could do all of this. We are the ones that have the authority. We are the principal people, period. Period. This book is 480 pages. I ain't about to read this whole 48 pages today. I'm about to do it. See the title on the screen, The Moriscos of Spain, Their Conversion and Expulsion. Right? I'm showing y'all some things here. There's other text here, letters and notes on the manners, custom, and condition of the North American Indians. This author wrote this during 8 years' travel amongst the wildest tribes of Indians in North America. I mean, goddamn, that's a great description for this book here, right? This author traveled amongst, that's like a hood vlogger right now, right? This author was a hood vlogger back during his time. And what's the date on this book here? What's the date on this? In 2 volumes, 1857. This is a hood vlog by George Catlin. You see that George Catlin made sure to make that Indian look brown. That is a sketch. He made sure to make sure that India didn't look like the paper that the book was printed on. See what I'm saying? For those that have issues with color. I'm going to get into this text. I'm about to do another video specifically on this text here. I will do that. Let's continue now. Another good text here. Classic. The history of the American Indians, particularly those nations adjoining to the Mississippi, East and West Florida, Georgia, South and North Carolina, and Virginia. Ooh, this right here. Very, very good text here. 480 pages. An account of their origin, language, manners, religious and civil customs, laws, form of government, punishments, conduct in war and domestic life, their habits, diet, agriculture, manufactures, diseases, and method of cure, and the particulars sufficient to render it a complete Indian system with observations on former historians, the conduct of our colony governors, superintendents, missionaries, etc. James Adair, Esquire, 1775. 1775 text right here. God damn it. Trying to fire to my tobacco and my lighter just broke. Be right back, y'all. Let me grab another lighter. All right. Oh, where we at with it? The history of the Indian tribes of North America with biological sketches and anecdotes of the principal chiefs. Yeah. Our youth needs to know this. We all those people. We all those descendants. All this rhetoric, all this debating, etc. Yo, I ask a real simple question. How do you relate to the people you claim to be? Don't call me nothing other than what I told you that I am. Period. Don't call me nothing other than what I told you I am. By doing so, you are speaking very disrespectful and offensively towards me and my people. I would not go to your country and tell you that you are not what you say you are. That would be disrespectful and offensive. Our youth for too long have been prevented from having this information. They have whitewashed our realities. They have blackened our people out. Whereas it's very unfortunate that we have people that say, fuck America. Fuck America, right? For myself, when I think about in my youth, hearing such words, and then maturing and learning how we are America, like fully coming to that realization that we are America. Everybody from all over the world, they want to be here. Where they come from, they say, fuck America. They even say, some of them specify, fuck United States. But we got treaties with the United States. We got treaties only with the European nations. But the world is changing in front of our eyes right now. Currency is changing, etc. We have upgraded breeds of criminals present now on our land. Upgraded breeds. Are our youth being prepared for what it is? The same way when we was in our youth, were we being made prepared for what's happening and what we got to do to prevent these things from continuing happening? See? I look forward to getting into these old texts with you all. I'm going to have to take notes of what I would like to present to you all. You know, we have people that disrespect these old books. Pan-Africans, they don't like books. They like their little Dr. Benz, who was trained by a who. Their Dr. Clarks that was trained by a who. Their Ivan Van Sertima's that is descendant of who and trained by a who. Hey, yo, hold on. What about our people that was taught by us? What about them? Pan-Africans don't like our people that was taught by our people, do they? Well, they want to debate. They want to introduce their so-called scholars that are all eugenicists trained. And I will simply say they all lack merit. They all lack honor. They don't even identify themselves properly. They just want to all call themselves African, descendant of African slaves. Well, how about this, Pan-African? Since you are the descendant of a slave, you have no business talking to me or my people or speaking against me and my people. It's that simple, descendant of an African slave. You have no business on this land. Who put you here? Who sent you here? Who sent you? That's who I need to speak to. Because we got to have a conversation. Yo, y'all can no longer have this opportunity to speak towards, against my American people. I prove it to y'all on multiple occasions now that our natural American race, our natural American species, our natural American nations, we owe none of these foreigners anything. They came to our land. They have taken from us. How can you owe someone that has stolen from you, huh? They call you black. They call you African American. They call you Negro. They call you colored. They call you mulatto. They call you everything other than what you naturally and genetically are as an heir, as a descendant, as a natural American descendant of natural American nations. They call you everything other than what you are while taking from your nation, from your people, wanting to remove, wanting to annihilate, exterminate, and produce the extinction of your people through your youth, generation after generation. And hold on, we're supposed to owe them something? Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. For me, it will not be allowed. And this is why I say coward season is over. Scalp season is on. Scalp them when they speak against you. Remove their ability to speak to you. Remove their tongue. Remove it. And when I say remove it, right? You know, physical is the first thing people go to, right? You know, tongue is physical. The mind, brain, all of that. You know, check it. Their spirit is weak. We can easily destroy their spirit. Real simple question. Who do you descend from? Who do you descend from? How did you get here? Don't ask me shit. Don't ask me nothing. No. I told you who I am. You told me that you're a foreigner. So who do you come from? Oh, shit. My ancestors got no treaties with you. Therefore, I had no treaty with you. So therefore, I can't speak to you. And like, yo, in my mind, you're a fucking criminal. You are descendant of a criminal exile. I cannot, at this point in the collective existence of my nations, of my American people, I do not have the luxury to give you any opportunity to deceive me, to take advantage of me nor my people. I cannot give you that opportunity. That's just the fact. That's the reality here. We don't have the luxury of giving these Jews and Muslims and British colonial America a luxury. We don't have the luxury to give them a luxury of deceiving us. Deception's a luxury. I swear it is. How were you betrayed? Luxuriously. They did it in a beautiful way, didn't they? Brother, sister, fuck the white man, motherfucker. Yo, you got contracts with them that you're not telling me about. Motherfucker, I didn't get full disclosure about none of that. I got a problem with you for that. You did it to my ancestors and you think you're going to continue doing it to me as a descendant of my people? Are you crazy? When I tell you that the mirror reflects brown and not black. Additionally, reinforced by the fact that I know my nations, I know my people, and you're not them. You will not deceive me. I will not enable you to deceive me. I will not. None of you. They renamed our lands to reflect where they came from. I'll show text on that. I'm going to continue with this video because this is a little lengthy right now. But looky here. The Powhatan Confederacy, past and present. Yo, our descendants are still here. See? Numerous references I have to get into with you all. I prepared this presentation this morning, but goddamn, it's a little lengthy. And I got some other tasks to get into, but let me show you something. Defining Indians in colonial Virginia and the Carolinas. Let me show you something real quick. It says, August 19, 1777. This is in Augusta County, Virginia. Nat, an Indian boy in the custody of Mary Greenlee, who detains him as a slave, complains that he is held in unlawful slavery, commissioned to take depositions in Carolina or elsewhere. He is an Indian that had to file a complaint that he is unlawfully being held in slavery. I have a whole 8-page document here with these court references on how our people had to free themselves being listed as a slave due to that black Negro bullshit because of a presumption arising from his color or her color. A presumption. Look. If therefore a person of that description claims his freedom, he must establish his right to it by evidence. By such evidence as will destroy the force of the presumption arising from his color. All dark-skinned persons are presumed to be descended from Negroes. Yo, but it's throughout history. It's throughout time. Real historians, we have it documented. That's in addition to your genealogy, which is ultra important because that's how you can free yourself. All this nationality, status correction bullshit, jurisdictional bullshit, Yo, if you are an American Indian, you in a whole distinct goddamn jurisdiction by default. All you gotta do is prove your descendancy. Your bloodline carries your inheritance. Are you able to articulate your inheritance? Are you able to articulate that you are an heir? This is why when we have people that want to promote everything black and all of that, yo, leave that to them. Let them have it. Let them have it. They want to say black Indians. No. No. An Indian is an Indian. We come in all colors. We come in all colors. There is no such thing as a black Indian, especially when you know your nation. That's not a black nation. That's a real life nation. Okay? That nation has a distinct and superior jurisdiction to any of these foreign entities. Any of them, absolutely any of them. And we have to reinforce this truth throughout our American people. It's that simple. What's not simple is getting our people on the same page where they will be focused, have a unified voice. That's what Tecumseh was trying to communicate years ago. And numerous other chiefs was working to communicate. And now, via the social media situation, we have opportunity to communicate to thousands to millions of people, specifically ours, fundamentally, continuing to these foreigners. Whereas, for myself, Tomahawk Tony, I will not entertain no goddamn debate with no goddamn foreigner. You call yourself black, you call yourself a Moor, you call yourself a Hebrew, you call yourself anything other than my people. I'm not interested in no goddamn debate with you, period. I'm not. Michael, how you doing? Salute, appreciate your presence. I will not entertain a debate with a fucking foreigner. I will not. Especially with a foreigner that has a background in disrespecting my people. You call us black, you call us a Negro, you call us Moors, you call us Hebrews, you call us anything other than what we naturally are. I have a problem with you. The problem with you is the fact that you don't belong here. That's my problem with you. You don't belong here. You damn sure don't belong here speaking erroneously, defamatorily to my people. You don't belong here. You have no business with us. Speak to the big bad quote unquote white man, the pale skins in which made you what you are, and your black ancestors that made you what you are. Debate with them. Don't debate with me. I will crush you. Empress Roro Amani, how you doing? Appreciate your presence. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat one more time before I get up out of here. Real simple question. What do you think about what's been shared this morning? What are your thoughts? How you doing? What's going on in your territories? Things of this nature. All right. As always, much appreciation to our American people. Stay healthy, stay strong. Self-preservation is everything. We must preserve our American nations. All of these universities, they owe a debt to us. It's documented. They owe a debt to us. None of those black fanatics want to address the debt in which they owe. Like all these quote unquote black people seeking reparations. What about black people's reparations? Like they owe Indians reparations. Can we have that conversation? Due to their involvement, their enrichment. I mean, the Al Sharptons present, the Adam Clayton Powells and their descendants present. Huh? They benefited from colonization, didn't they? They benefited from blacking out Indians, didn't they? So therefore, shouldn't they be paying reparations? Shouldn't their descendants be charged for actively being participants? Al Sharpton, he should be charged. Jesse Jackson, he should be charged. All of these characters that have been promoting this synthetic and artificial brother, sister, we're descendants of slaves from Africa, blah, 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 bullshit. Knowing goddamn well they the descendants of some Moriscos and Moranos from goddamn Europe. They are descendants of Negropeans. They are literal Negropeans working with eugenicists actively, have participated in active warfare against all of our American nations' descendants, etc., withholding truth from our American people, etc. Yo, what about those reparations? Yo, Michael, word, what you said right there? Yeah, Shawan. I don't know what's up with that character, man, but you know, I think about one, I think about how many million more by default. It's unfortunate. You know, we got people that you know, confusion works for them. I mean, I don't know what's bloodline, man. I don't know what's bloodline. Foreigners by default, you know, they come from confused genetics anyway. Euro-Afrin mixtures, they're subspecies. I don't know if that's his bloodline. I don't know if that's his origins and all of that. It's really none of my business. But for the fact that this character, he presented himself on this channel, my channel, with that confusion, seeking to be argumentative, and then going to go from wanting to learn to wanting to become disrespectful, I'm not interested. He can get it the dirty Jersey way, as far as I'm concerned. He can get that dirty Jersey work. It is what it is. All I know is this. You know, as you see here, I can spend hours discussing with you all old text from past to present. I can discuss with you all current events that are shaping the future, with the purpose of me doing so, of encouraging our youth having a better experience. That's what I'm about. Our youth having a better experience. It's that simple. There's too much foreign ignorance present, flooding the minds of our people. Like, yo, it's unfortunate that, you know, we have to spend this much time defining what the foreigners did against us versus us defining what we're going to do for ourselves. Yeah, Sister Soul, how you doing? I see you, man. What you mean can I see you? I see you. What? Look, I can see you. Hell yeah, Sister Soul, there you go. I see you. Get it in, Sister Soul, get it in. Well, hold on. Yeah, let me go in and add you too. Yeah, Sister Soul, thank you for explaining to me the other day this YouTube moderation option situation. That's so new to me. And let me drop the link in the chat again. I will be concluding soon because I got to eat something, man. I've been up like retarded early. Yeah, Mama Chief. You appreciate it. You already know. So yeah, I just dropped the link. And for anyone else, feel free to join. Feel free to tap in. I will be getting out of here soon. So I need to eat something, man. I'm hungry. I am hungry. You feel me? I got to eat something. But yo, this is really sick, yo. This is really disgusting how, you know, the Pan-Africans, the Moors, the Hebrews, etc., they base their whole argument while seeking to argue with us. So how you doing?
Peace, brother. Yeah, this was the one that was acting weird for the last couple of times I came on. You couldn't see me, so I just was checking.
Oh yeah, you good now though. Now you good right now. You
Yeah,
real
now
clear.
they were trying to block something out. They can't block this.
No doubt. It ain't happening.
Yeah, I just finished my little group, brother, my Saturday group. What you on right now? I know I done missed some good stuff. In a briefly, you know, what you on right now?
Man, this morning I've been on like 2 hours, about to be 10 minutes. So we don't cover it anthropology. We touched on archaeology a little bit. The primary was the ethnography of our American nations, okay, and how these foreigners, you know, they studied us and then they wanted to rename our territories. I spoke on that briefly. They want to rename our territories and all of that, rename our people. All of that goes together. You know what I'm saying?
That's so crazy, bro. Do you know in my group, right? Like sometimes I'll play like music or video, wait for people to come in. So I pulled up one of my old videos, and you know what's funny? What you got as your thumbnail, that's the same thumbnail on the video that I pulled up, right? So I pulled up the video. It was acting stupid because remember I was having so many internet issues before. Fast forwarded it, and it was on the book that I was reading that was called, it was talking about something with the Deutsch, just something with Deutsch, and then it said with them in the colonization. I can't remember the title, to be honest. But why it was talking about the same thing, it was talking about the land. It was actually explaining how they was naming the lands, how like we used to name the land based off of like, say an event happened over by this river, so it'd be like such and such a river, you know, or whatever. It was very detailed.
That's right.
And that's crazy. Here, and you on it, and I didn't even know it. That's what's up. The frequency.
Yeah, and so my purpose for doing these, because like where I'm at now with doing these presentations, you know, showing the history is one thing, but I would like to just encourage our people, the listeners, etc. I'd like to encourage them to know that, yo, for us, this is not a debate. There is nothing to debate. We have no one to debate other than ourselves. We can debate amongst ourselves. And I would encourage that to be public, all right? As Americans, we can debate amongst ourselves. But when it comes to these foreigners, someone tells you that they're Pan-African. If someone tells you that they are more, they tell you that they're Israelite, a Hebrew, they tell you that they're from Euro, Africa, Asia, anywhere, there is no debate with them. We have nothing to talk to them about because they are a visitor and they are a colonist. They are a foreign enemy combatant, period. We don't have no treaties with them. They don't even know their own treaties to begin with. They don't even know their treaties. Half of them don't even know their own nations. They don't even know their own lineage. They don't know nothing about their origins, but they want to come and debate with us about who we are on our land while they're saying fuck us and our land. There's nothing to debate about. It's offensive to begin with. So therefore, how I'm on it moving forward, all right, I'm purely sharing information to reinforce, to represent, so that our American nation descendants can represent and be focused on what we must do now moving forward in regards to our collective self-preservation. That's what I'm about.
That's right. Because these people, it's almost like being treasonous. You sitting up here talking with the agents, playing with them, arguing with them, going back and forth. They able to say certain things like that. It's like, come on, why even play games with these people? They're a waste of time. They'll come in and act like they hear what you're saying just so they can get a chance to get something in or deter the conversation, or you know, it's always some type of agent behavior with them. It's never a learning moment or a teaching moment.
And let me reinforce what you just said right there. Keep in mind something at all times when dealing with these folks, right? They are actively scouting. They're actively doing reconnaissance. They are gathering information. Every time we speak publicly, they are gathering information to construct their operations, to enhance their operations against us. Our youth need to know that they're not each other's ops. It's these foreigners that are our ops. They are foreign operatives. They are foreign opposition that are involved in foreign operations. And this is all military scientific strategies of war against us on all levels of society and industrial commercial activity. Everything that they brought here, the credit system, it's not ours. Indians, we got good credit amongst ourselves, right? I can speak to any of my people and they can ask me, yo, Tone, I need this. Yo, can you do this for me? Provide a service. Yeah, I got you. What's up? then I'll hit him back like, hey, yo, can you do this for me? Because ultimately, it's doing this for we. Can we do whatever we need done for ourselves that's going to enhance our collective selves? We can't do that with no foreigner. Foreigners all about themselves. All about themselves. It ain't about us. They come here and they want to be American. And they want to tell us that we're not American. But meanwhile, guess what? Ooh. We got that information on how, we're able to show that we're not U.S. citizens. You understand? The foreigners are the U.S. citizens, not us. They naturalized. Their ancestors secured contracts with the United States as subjects. Well, not us. We have our own jurisdictions over here. All we know is that's simple. But it's cool that people preventing us from even considering our own reality. They focus on their foreign reality. So it's the thing.
I think he's starting to matrix a little bit, bro.
They put me in the matrix.
Now that sounded clear. It was.
So you said they put me in the matrix?
It sounds clear now. A second ago it was matrix, but now it's clear.
Oh man, yeah, man. Well, so I'm gonna say it real clearly here. All we got to do is focus on ourselves. Our ancestors established our jurisdictions. All we have to do is identify our nations and stand for our nations, stand with our nations. That's it. We inherited. We are heirs to our nations. There's nothing else to talk about. There is no debate with no foreigner. Get that out of your minds. There is no debating with the foreigner. Who were you trying to convince out here? I don't have to inform someone that chooses to be black that I'm brown by color, but I'm defined by my nation. I really don't have to do that. None of us have to do that. We have to step into our authority. We have to remain in our authoritative positions. I have some other text to show, but this text is very lengthy.
And what you said, bro, we have to remain in it. If we're not standing in it, that's like any other position, right? If you're not standing in your position, anybody's allowed to walk in and step in. It's an open spot. I'll be right back, brother. I have to get this call. Right. It's an open spot.
Go for it, man. It's all good. But yes, we have nothing to debate about with these foreigners. Nothing to debate about. And Mama Chief, I'm glad you're here. So, yesterday I referenced experience last year, right? Where, you called, I can't recall if it was the rapper Hannock, one of those Virginia tribes, right? And how you told them foreigners superimposing a Virginia nation, right? They superimposed our Virginia nations, one of those nations, and they told you that, the Powhatan nation is extinct. You see? These are debates that are to be had both publicly and privately. Let's invite those speakers, those representatives of those nations on alive. Let's send in legal documents to them with cease and desist orders. As a natural heir and natural descendant, as a natural attorney in fact representative of our autochthonous Aboriginal American nations and all of that, right? Because that's what we can do. But who's out here informing the people on what we can do? versus all the confusion that's being circulated. Well, you gotta prove you're this. I ain't gotta prove shit to no fucking foreigner, man. The foreigners know that they foreign. They know it. You hear it in the way they communicate. Understand? We cannot invest in the circus clown monkey shit these foreigners descend from. The foreigners descend from circus clown monkey shit. I'm gonna have to run back that presentation. I'm gonna have to invite, salute to Wild Indian, Tribe Biz, salute to him. I'm gonna have to invite him back so we can go the fuck in on that shit again and bring Mama Chief up on that motherfucker too, and bring up all the good peoples, all the real motherfucking Indians, so we can demonstrate again. We can represent to y'all again the circus clown monkey shit that was done against our people. What'd you say right there? What'd you say? Uh-oh, hold on. This thing got funny. Hold on. They got the funny. They do not answer any of the Indian numbers that I got. If anyone has some whoa, you see that shit? Whoa, hold on. But meanwhile, yo, Indians got each other's numbers, though. We can call each other, though, right? Yo, hey. See, like I said, y'all, I'm advanced. I'm advancing. I am preparing some things. And I need our people involved. We have to prioritize our interest. Yeah. If they don't have working numbers, guess what? We can have working numbers. We have to fill these offices. Our offices. We have to be dutiful. Michael, what you say here? How if I'm one of them half of my mom's side or Virginia Powhatans? That's right, but how is the Powhatan extinct when my mother's Powhatan? Huh? And Powhatan was a confederacy, by the way. The Powhatan nation of numerous American Indian nations that was connected to the Southern Territory nations, connected to the Northeastern, going into the Midwestern, going into the, come on. Like, these are all of our nations, all related. What you said, Mama Chief? Indian Affairs don't pick up the phone. Historic Society don't pick up the phone. What you said? I got 17 generations on my mother's side. Stop playing, B. Stop. Yo, that's what I'm saying. What's there to debate about? What is there to debate about? 1424. What is there to debate about? Let me drop a link in the chat again. Yo, anyone interested in sharing their experiences, we must reinforce our truth. These foreigners, they're going to continue. They're going to proceed with their propaganda against us. That's what they've been doing since they got here. They called us savages, barbarians, etc. Because of our natural complexion. Because we're natural, we're savages and we're barbaric and all of that shit. But meanwhile, hold on. They're real scholars. It's like, hold on, these Indians here. These Indians, oh shit. They got entire civilizations and they're natural. Fast forward to the descendants of all these foreigners, they want to be natural. After studying their own people polluting and poisoning everything. No, I'm going to eat in a minute, Ma. I'm still here. I'm just blowing this tobacco and just thinking about the reality of all things, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to eat shortly. But this is the situation, though. The foreigners want to be like our ancestors after they polluted us. After they polluted us, they want to be like our ancestors. Simultaneously, they want to tell us that we all descendants of our ancestors. They want to live a natural life here throughout the Americas. Yo, Mama Chief, you're more than welcome to join. You already know. You all are more than welcome to join. It's all good. But this is what's unfortunate, though. They've directed our youth to what colorful candy that's poisoned in the gumball machines once upon a time ago, to now being poisoned by McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and all these places with all these harmful substances in it, to popping Zans and Perks and Oxy and da-da-da-da-da, all these harmful chemicals, etc. And all of this is taking away from our mental, spiritual, and physical abilities to perform effectively for our nations that they don't even want to tell us is ours. Do you see what our duties are and how we can secure our duties for our legacy, our posterity? Our daughters and sons deserve a better experience. Once again, let me repeat that. Our American nation's descendants, daughters and sons, the natural daughters and sons deserve a better experience. They need to know their nations. They need to know that this land is theirs and no one else's. And they don't need to argue with no foreigner. They don't need to subject themselves to the corruption authored by these foreigners. They don't need to have these experiences. They need to, like when I was in grade school, I used to ball up them papers. You want to assign me some homework or assign me a test or a quiz? I'm gonna ball that shit up. I'm gonna throw it at your dumb ass. Them black teachers gotta get the fuck out of here. That's the truth. Within this eugenicist, board of education, United States school system, they have infused within that policy, within those programs, ethnocide. Yo, our elders saw that in their youth. Fast forward, it's still going on with our youth right now. At what point in time are we going to be dutiful? At what point in time are we going to invest in our youth having a better experience? That's what this is all about. This is what it's been about. This is what it has been about. No difference now than what it was 2, 3, 4, 500, 1,000 years ago. Yo, 1,000 years ago, we didn't have these problems. 1,000 years ago. We hitting on a good 540 years. Because these, the Pan-Africans, they want to talk about 400 years of slave and all that certain kind of monkey shit. Man, look. They 400 years of slave. Let me show you how they 400 years of slave. The Moriscos of Spain, their conversion and expulsion. This is their 400 years of slave right there. And I got more references too, if they want to fuck around. They don't want to debate with me. You know why? I'm gonna pull their card. You know they card? Let me show you their card. What they call that? Right there. Jews and Muslims in British colonial America. Yeah, I can find their names on these old lists. I can find them. I got list on list on list of these Negroes, these Morisco Moranos. So the Morano is the Jew, aka Hebrew, and the Muslim, that's the Morisco / Moor. That's them. A genealogical history. Why they playing? Do they want to have that conversation? Because I'm not about to debate with them. I'm not about to debate with them about what pertains to me and mine. And at all times, I will honor the great spirit, our American ancestors and our American people. our American nation's descendants at all times. I will. I don't care. I can't be bought. You understand? I've been sabotaged. I've been censored. My character's been defamed by fake Indians, by pretendians, right? Yo, motherfucker have yet to show a goddamn court record, police report, or anything condemning me. All this shit I'm talking right now. Hey, yo, who wants to file a police report against shit I'm talking about right now? Go for it, motherfucker. File a police report in regards to me speaking the fucking truth. File that shit. File a police report right now today. Call this shit fucking virtual bullying or some shit. Call it that. Me saying fuck these African breeders, fuck these Moorish breeders that are breeding enemy combatants against our people on our American soil. File a police report about that shit and watch how I handle that motherfucker. Play them type games, man. That's where I'm at with this shit. I've taken time to study. Knowing better is doing better, right? Yeah, I know better so I could do better, and I'm encouraging better throughout our American people. I done showed y'all how them foreigners got to have a license to even be around us within our territory. I showed y'all that yesterday. Michael, what'd you say? What'd you say, Michael? You said, even if you look at the one of the so-called African slave image, the males have fezzes on. I'm going to text you the image now. Bet that. Bet that. Let me go and pull it up. Shit like that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Man, come on, man. Look at that. Yo, Michael, much appreciation. Let me go to, I'm about to send this over via email real quick. Let me pull it up. God damn, man. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Like, this is what we need. We need more of our people, you know what I mean, that's active with the duty, like doing the research, investing in the good people, having a better experience. Yo, not being lied to, not being deceived is having a better experience, you understand? I just showed y'all that the Moors was brought over here as slaves, didn't I? More slaves wearing fezzes. Pardon, yo, Michael, based on what you just sent, creating the email right now. Let me do this real quick. Because I can't show my email right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. Let me focus on my screen real quick. Can I do that? So we'll lay out the email. Now, this is my business email right here, man. I can't show y'all my business. You feel me? This is my business right here. I mean, this business and all of that. You feel me? Give me 1 second. I got y'all right now. Coming right up. Man, it's so serious. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to pull this up for y'all real quick. Yo, Michael, salute. Appreciate you sharing this quality real quick. You know what I mean? Look. We gonna take a look at this one. Looky here. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it. Hold on. Right there. Hold on. I'm pulling it up. There we go. All right, we back. All right, here we go. Looky here. You see that right there? Now, what did we read previously? And let me tell you something, right? The Africans did this to themselves. The Pan-Africans don't want to have that conversation about how the Africans did it to themselves. Mansa Musa, who they want to praise, some of them want to praise a Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa, he was wealthy because he owned slaves. He had all these Africans working for him. And they want to praise a human trafficker, or for real human trafficker. Yo, that includes everything. That includes child rape. That includes making and producing catamites. All of that. and selling them Mansa Musa. See, they want to fake glorify while omitting real historical truth and fact. Yo, I'm not going to do that to my people. But remember, they're going to do this because they're not our people. They're going to lie to us because we're not their people. But even then, they lie to their own people, though. But even then, they lie to their own people. But you see those fezzes, though? Let's zoom in on that real quick. Let's go over here. See them fezzes right there? 3 of them with fezzes on. Look, 1, 2, 3. Them is s'mores. But they all s'mores. Otherwise, we could call them all kafirs. This is a term for them Africans. Look at them. Them some Africans, man. Kafir. Mortas. But those ones with the hats on, you know, those are the ones that have leadership, though. The other ones, they're considered infidels, though, apparently. They call them infidels. They call them subjects. It's interesting the order of this as well, right? Very interesting. Like what they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Hey, yo, I wanna hear one of these Pan-Africans say that. That's my ancestor right there, the one right there, the third one from the left. That's my ancestor. Can that ever happen? Can one of these Pan-Africans claim their ancestor in any of these old pictures here? No. Because their ancestors were nameless. They were criminal exiles. They didn't have no natural value. But yet still they want fake reparations from the United States. See, I want to share this to y'all too, right? So on the subject matter of reparations, right? And them falsely condemning the United States for slavery, right? Let me tell you something. For one, the United States came about after all of those foreign nations had already invested into the trafficking, the transportation of slaves. So how can the United States be condemned for something in which it didn't have a role in? The United States is a whole new entity. There are no formal records saying that the United States bought slaves. Is there? You see how we can easily destroy lies? There are no formal documents. I'm talking about there are no bills of sale. None of that. There are no manifests. There are no documents blatantly saying that the United States purchased these slaves from wherever in the world. Nowhere do you see that. So therefore, how can the United States be held as a party to having to pay reparations? You see? You have to be very specific when you file your claims. Otherwise, your claim has no merit. This is law. But these black fanatics, the descendants of these people, these are all black fanatics here. You know what I'm saying? This is what they want for themselves. This is what they want to happen again in history. This is what they've invested in. The Al Sharptons, etc. They've invested in this. They're in this condition you see on the screen from Africa. Like, this happened in Africa, right? They're in this condition here that you see on the screen because of their corruption against whoever they had problems with in Africa. It has nothing to do with our American people. Nothing to do with us over here. That's what I'm saying. I'm not interested in any debating with no foreigner. I will have debates with my own American people about how we should handle these problems, because these are all problems. the fact that we have all these criminal exile descendants present on our land, and they're camouflaged now amongst our people. All the churches, all the mosques, the mosque, all the Hebrew temples, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're all camouflaged throughout our territories under the name of being a nonprofit, religious institution, and all of this circus shit. But meanwhile, they're the most corrupt. They breed the corruption. That's documented as well. Anyway, I'll drop the link. I'm about to get up out of here. Michael, what'd you say here? What'd you say there, Michael? What'd you say? They'll say, I know I'm a descendant, or I'm a descendant of a slave, but if as what was a slave in their tree names and all, the answer always is, I don't know, but you just said that you did know. That's right. You're a descendant of a slave, but you can't prove not one. You cannot prove not one. I'm going to conclude with this document. I'm going to have to do a continuation of all of this. Give me 1 second. Where did that text at? Because I was going to show y'all some maps this morning, all of that. I had my book pulled up too, about to show y'all that. Man, I was going to do some things, but yo, it's lengthy, y'all. This shit is lengthy. Like, we're talking about, we just covered like hundreds of years early. Like, I didn't even get a chance to get into this J.A. Rogers sex and race text. Damn, where is this damn document at? I don't know. I just had it up here. The hell? Hold on, y'all. I had this text up here. Here it is right here. My apologies. Yo. Simple 8-page document here. And this being about how all you had to do was call an Indian a Negro or a mulatto, a musty, or person of mixed blood. That's all you had to do. And they was lumped up in a non-whites category. Okay? And they could be held as a slave. And what these people had to do was simply file a complaint with the court saying that they're Indian. Feel free to look up the North Carolina tithable law. Look it up. See, tithable. They try to make our American nations tithable nations. Nations paying taxes, colonists. Okay? Tithe means that's a form of subjugation. Okay? When you pay tax, you are subjugated. Period. You are a subject. Told y'all earlier, if you are our people, guess what? You are not a subject. All you got to know is your nation. Create the legal document. If you need assistance, I can help you. But you got to have your work together, though. You have to. It's a must. It's a priority. I don't aid and abet foreign corruption. I'm not assisting no foreign enemy combatants. It's a soul. It's a soul. How you doing?
Good, bro. I had a call real quick. You said you talking about tithable?
Yeah, it's a soul. Yeah,
That's how they
North
have.
Carolina
That's why they say
tithable
that
law.
God is the tithe. They have you tithe in the Bible, right? The religious aspect, they try to use that as that same thing because you tithe into. They say you tithe into God. You tithe into God, and God is what the government. So yeah, that's crazy.
Well, so tithe was a tax they imposed on tributary Indians or in tributary Indian nations. Tributary.
Right, but what I'm
That
saying,
means
real
that
quick, maybe I
you
ain't say it
know
right, but what I'm saying, Tony, real quick,
supposedly.
Tony, What I'm saying is on that, right?
Mhm,
If you think about it in church,
mhm.
right? You know how they tell you pay your tithes and offering? That's the same thing. It's talking about the tithable title. They're talking about tithes. So you know how they be like, oh, you got to pay your tithes in church. That's the same thing. That's what that tax is in church. You're paying like it's like you're paying a tax. And it's similar to the same thing. So they took it from saying this tithable thing that you're talking about. I'm not very familiar with it, but just from hearing what you're saying, it's like that's the same thing that they put in church. So now they got you under the religious aspect, and you're not paying it to the government or the state, but you're paying the tithe to the church. Maybe I'm not hearing it right. Just to clarify, because I keep hearing that.
That's right. And through the church pay taxes to the state, to the state, as well as the feds. Um, although they claim exemption and all of that, however, there are still taxes involved. You know what I'm saying? All the commercial activity, like this is a very intricate commercial network here. I'm gonna have to find one of these old texts where it shows how the quote unquote Negro church, all of them established within Indian territories, right? Profitable between the 17 and 1800s. I'm gonna have to find that text for y'all. I think I showed it some years ago. I'm about to locate that text again just to reinforce this point. Because once again, to this day, right, the churches have the best credit. The preacher, pastor, reverend has better credit than the congregation, and the congregation feeds that church. They have
That's
business
right.
credit, but meanwhile, the people, the congregation, they don't know nothing about credit.
And none of these
Yeah,
churches
Chief, no,
offer
you just
credit
jumped on.
resources or try to offer people the ability to improve their credit or ways to help them with, even planning. You don't even hear them talk about, oh, let's help you guys, with planning your budget for the month so you can try and stay on track. They don't do none of that. No type of financial assistance.
Yeah, no type of financial literacy information. Chief, no, you just jumped on, and so Mama Chief got some info pertaining to how these churches will have these women, these Aboriginal American Indian Nation women, Indians, they will have these women donate their property to the church. Mama Chief, how you doing? Mama Chief,
Can you hear me?
hear us, but
Can you hear me?
you're
Can I
muted.
be heard? Can I be heard?
I hear you now. Yeah, it still says you're yes.
How y'all doing? Greetings to everybody.
Yeah, you're good. You're
Greetings.
good.
Okay, I'm on three different devices, y'all. I had a hard time, but
Much
I'm
appreciation.
here. Much appreciation to y'all and everything that y'all do and get done. I appreciate y'all so much. I just jumped on because I really got a lot going on. Um, Health wise, I'm still alive. And I'm grateful, y'all. I'm just grateful to be here right now. I've been struggling with that blood pressure, Tone. You know how that blood pressure get. Um, but overall, I'm good. I feel good. I'm in good energy, and I got plans to get near my babies, and that's the most thing that's important to me is to be like you said, be so we can make the children have a different experience because I grew up around my great grandma. My great grandma, my grandma, we all was around the same, we was around each other. So for me to be 200 miles away from my babies, that's not a good feeling for me, not with all the work that I've done, because I've done this work for them. And I just wanted to jump up and thank you and encourage you again, Tony, for all the work that you've done. According to the We the People have been poisoned because every day I meet people who I have to tell, you know. Um, and they do be shocked. They be amazed. Right now, I just wanted to share with some people if they're having. Am I coming through clear? Am I coming through clear, Tom? Hello.
Yeah, it's
Am I
you,
coming through all right?
hear me, but as soon as you started speaking, or a little bit after you started speaking, your connection's been going in and out. It might be my internet. Let me go ahead
No, it's not
and
yours.
change my
It's mine.
settings, and hopefully this will make this
I
clear.
think
I
it
was
was
able to
you,
hear you
Tony.
though.
I could hear
Just
clear. I think it was you, Tony. I had to just unmute real quick. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
huh?
I could hear. I think it's your connection, bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Thank you,
let
sis.
me do this real quick. Let me change the Wi-Fi. Let me just switch up the Wi-Fi real quick.
Okay.
So I'm outside right now. I'm not connected to a a landline and all of that. One moment here. But yeah, keep talking. Keep talking. We're going to be
Okay.
disconnected
All right.
briefly. I'm going to refresh.
Okay.
I'm going to refresh the page.
Okay. But
Yeah,
I
but keep
really
talking though. Keep talking until I
okay.
refresh though.
Okay. I really just wanted to share a new finding that I found out, a condition that is in my body now, and I wanted to share with people because everywhere I go
Now you
now,
going out.
I'm going out now.
Now you back in.
I'm back in. Thanks, sis. Thank you.
Oh,
Because
you
I
good?
got a
You clear now?
headset on. Okay, good. Um, I found out another condition that I've been suffering with for about a year now, and I didn't know what it was. The leg pain. Um, and everybody I mentioned I have leg pain, they say me too, And then when I mention that what's the cause of it, they say, "Oh, me too." I'd be like, okay. So this gout, okay, this is a new phenomenon that is going on in my body. It's been happening, but I just found out what it is. And I just wanted to share with the people because all of this goes along with being poisoned and our body's not working correctly on no level. So what happens is that me with my diet changing and I don't know really what to eat. My allergens are off, so everything is allergic. So all I could eat was chicken. So chicken has something called purines, Purines, and it causes the inflammation because of the proteins or something that they're using. Um, and that has caused me to be debilitated to the fact of not being able to walk. There's another sister that is online and she's a truck driver and she says the same thing. But she eats her diet, and me, Tone, I'm going to cut out anything and everything that's harming this body of mine. I will lose it right then and there. So, um, it's called uric acid and it gets in your kidneys and your kidneys do not expel it. So therefore you become in kidney failure. Um, the numbers for kidney failure that they say they want to start trying to put plug holes in you and put you on dialysis is 105. Mine is at 93. My sister's is at 2 something. My mom died on dialysis. So if you get the picture that I'm painting here, I'm just trying to tell you guys, get on top of your health. Please be proactive. Don't let these people put you in the hospital I won't even go to the hospital for my blood pressure because I know what they're gonna do. Last time I went, they stuck a needle in my neck. I'm not for this. So the best thing that we can do is find ways to, try to counteract what is happening because we the people have been poisoned. We the people have been poisoned. It's nothing we can do but try to live the best we can and make sure that we don't let them don't that we don't become a science project that they already know we coming with. I declare. I declare. I tell my people, if you find me laying out here, don't take me up there. Just let me go on and let me go to the earth where I'm supposed to go, and I'll land right there, Tony, because I'm getting kind of. Mm,
Now, let me say this though, right? It is very unfortunate, that we've had many decades go by without specific information pertaining to this active public health threat of rat poison and throughout personal care cosmetic products. Many decades have gone by without anyone specifically informing us of this. And I'm talking about being broadcasted. They broadcasted all of the products that contain this rat poison that causes all of these illnesses and conditions. This one substance, this one chemical is a direct factor of all of these illnesses and conditions impacting our people, right? And it's very unfortunate that, you know, our elders suffer, our youth suffer, and meanwhile, we have too many of our people that's actively using these products that are poison, further exposing not only themselves, but everyone close to them to the exposure, the harm caused by these toxic substances. You know, Chief Noya, I will definitely encourage you to, you know, keep your spirit strong. In regards to your diet and things of that nature, you know, utilize them good teas. You know what I'm saying? Like you already familiar. We spent a lot of time discussing the various herbs and etc. Keep that going for yourself. You know what I'm saying? As you identified that chicken ain't right, you know, we was discussing some months ago about the people that got real chicken. You know, we have to organize ourselves. We have to organize ourselves, our resources of people, whatever location where we can do business with them. We can contract with them to maintain quality meats, quality produce, fruits, herbs, vegetables, so that we can have access to what we need to sustain ourselves out here. You know, we got people, they focus all about being vegan, all about vegetarian, pescatarian, breatharian, etc. Yo, these are not the diets of our ancestors. What our ancestors was eating was not chemically infused. The natural meats have natural proteins, vitamins, nutrients, and minerals in them. The deer, for example, they're herbivores. Deer meat has always been good for us. So on and so forth. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all of that. I'm not going to get too long-winded with that point. I will
Tony,
simply...
excuse me, I was going to say, but see, that's why I got a story of my 11th aunt Nancy Ward, the Cherokee's Ginga woman. Now, because of the fact that they had killed all the buffaloes, because the buffaloes, they didn't make us have fat in our liver, and they didn't make us have, the buffaloes gave us everything we need. Those
right.
particular animals they didn't have that, what they call it, a cholesterol level and all that. And when they took away those buffaloes, that's when, am I doing something wrong?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. That's when Aunt Nancy, she saved this woman's life, one of the people. And this woman, in gratitude, she gave her a cow. This is the story that they tell is how we started eating on cow and drinking cow's milk is because of survival. You know,
Yep.
and Aunt Nancy and the women, the Ginga women of the Cherokee in Tennessee and Coda, where Coda come from, they end up beading and weaving to make a living and stuff during this time that had happened after her husband had gotten shot and killed, and she picked up his rifle and won the war. So they end up surviving after these things was going on. So we end up eating meat and drinking cow. And I don't, you know, I think that's just an act of survival. And the men became
Can I say
farmers.
something about that?
Yes,
It
ma'am.
was actually these people using another form of alchemy against us. We didn't have cows here. We didn't even know what a cow was. When in the buffalo itself and deer, the venisons is the reason that those were the good meats for us, because those are carbon animals. Those are two carbon based animals. There's no other meat that is carbon based. So this is why when they killed off our buffalo, it started messing with us. This is another form of the genocide. You know, all these things, as I say, the alchemy is all alchemy. There's physical alchemy, there's mental alchemy, there's spiritual alchemy, and there's the visual alchemy. So they use sigils, pictures, what do you call them, like logos, signs, all these things they use as alchemy. They use the pharma, which is witchcraft, pharmakia, the for the alchemy against our body as well. They put it in our, they do things to our water to change the water. Once they change the chemical compound, it's automatically different. So it's not relating to us because we're composed to this earth, just like the deer and the buffalo. That's why they were copper-based beings. And so they were what kept our bodies on the right frequency and balance because we only had things, anything that was here before these people came and invaded and started putting these things on us. Everything that was here was of us, and they were made specifically for us. So, you know, when they came and changed everything, like that alchemy of everything, the nature of the church, just like when the brother was reading that, and I'm like, damn, tithes. I said, wow, that's crazy. So they took that shit and said, yeah, we can't get them Indians with this way, but we're gonna switch it to church and making them pay the tithes in the church. The same thing. So now we gonna have them pay our taxes by paying the tithes because the tithes go through the church, which is affiliated with the government. I mean, it just amazes me the way they do stuff and just keep abusing us, you know. And we really need to like come out of this shit, stop like allowing this because it's so crazy. But yeah, the alchemy is the biggest form of dehumanization and genocide against our people because they continuously use it in all forms. It's shit, everything you damn looking at, you go out there damn door, you seen all these different logos and signs and colors and sigils. They done changed the color of our sky even using these nanoparticles, literally using the mirrors in the sky to create images and all this weird shit they be doing. And we all like you know,
And
we
people
a part
think
of it.
and people think those are beautiful skies. I get pictures of people be like, oh, I be like, oh wow, you know. But I think I appreciate you bringing it back to that tithing situation too. There's a movie I just saw, y'all, and it's in black and white. It was made like 1957 when I was born, and it's called Tombstone. And in that movie, it's a western, and it's going the sheriff, the mayor, and the accountant were the ones that was running these these towns that they were setting up. And the sheriff would go and collect the taxes from the people that making them be in their system, right? But then they what they did was they would get the baddest man who everybody was fearful of and made him be the deputy of the gave him a badge to be the deputy of the sheriff. So when they went and they was collecting taxes. And when he first went to this man, he said, "This ain't no territory." He said, "We making taxes in the territory." He said, "But this ain't no territory." He said, "This ain't no United States." And that, you know, I made a clip of that because at that point of time it showed me that this is what they was doing. They was making territories, they was going up making taxes on our people, and if they didn't have money they would take their cattle or they would take their land, on our land right there.
Yeah, I want to add to
Exactly.
that.
Oh,
I'd
go
like
ahead.
to
I
add
so did
to
too.
this. Yeah, I'd like to add to this this particular point of this discussion. We were talking about tithables, right? So for the tributary Indians, as they called them, right? So we see one of the first occurrences in history is in Virginia, okay? The Virginia Indian nations, all right? Very specific nations that this took place with what I'm about to describe, right? Where corn, tobacco, venison, skins, and furs was the currency for these tithes. So I want you to think about that for a moment, right? This is food and this is clothing. And these are valuable goods that are being sent on ships as cargo to Europe. If you look up the price of furs during this period, this was an expensive item. Just like how mink coats are expensive items now. Let's think about currently the value, the cost of actual deer meat in comparison to quote unquote cow meat. Deer meat costs more than cow meat. Right now it costs more unless you know where to source it from. It costs nothing when you have a relationship with a hunter. Deer meat costs nothing when you have a relationship with a hunter. The cost is associated to the fact of that labor associated to scouting the deer, hunting that deer, and then now you are butchering, you are preparing that deer carcass in honor of the deer. Like, you know, this was a sacred practice for us. The deer fed us, and so we had a relationship with the deer, the bear, the ducks, the pheasants, the buffalo, etc. Right? All these natural life elements, all these species, we have a relationship with them, and then now they're being converted into taxes. And it was done with these churches that these Morisco Moranos were present in. The Moriscos and Moranos were present in these churches. They had a role in taxation of Indians. Don't never get that confused.
Gotcha.
Yes, it's a soul. You said you wanted to add something.
Oh, it's okay, brother. I forgot. It was something that what Mama Chief was talking about, but I can't remember now. I'm good.
Okay. Well, that's what it is, y'all. We must prioritize ourselves over these foreigners at all times. Yo, we cannot entertain debates with these foreigners in regards to their artificial, foreign, synthetic, defamatory, slanderous, injurious perception of who we are and what we are. Okay.
Tony,
That's
can
one.
I appreciate you having me up, but I remember Micah say he's a Powhatan too. So I mean, whoever under the sound of our voice, if you Powhatan, if you are any of those 1,040 tribes that are in the book of ramification of the implication of our black identity of ours, listen. If you are one of those tribes, let's revive the tribes, y'all. Let's stop playing with these people. Let's let them know we are here. You know, I mean, hey, like I said, I'm trying to reach them. I'm trying to reach them. So the more of us, the merrier. The better it'll be if we can come together and go after them for what we know. Our land.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Like, you know, there is no need to fake make a nation or a tribe. There's no need for that. We are natural descendants and heirs of our American nations. We don't need to create anything. The only thing that we need to create is the recreation of our unity. That's what needs to be recreated. I read to y'all text the other day how the foreigners, they have sown distrust. They have fragmented our nations. They have turned us against each other. We have to invest in the opposite of that. We have to invest in turning towards each other, unifying ourselves, not allowing anyone to imitate us, perpetrate being us, and all of this. Like, we can't allow fraud and deception to take place amongst us any longer. We can't allow anyone to encourage conflict between us. Our entire existence is on the line. We see it every day. Throughout foreign media, the news and all of that. These pale skins, let's call themselves American. They are not the Americans. They are, at best, U.S. citizens. Those U.S. citizens have no place speaking to us. I showed y'all yesterday, 1832 Supreme Court decision. Those foreigners have to have a license to even be in our territories, let alone speak to us, deal with us. And there is a 4-year hard labor penalty. 4 years imprisonment and hard labor for them to be without a license amongst us. This is what we have to know. This is what we must know. This is what we must encourage amongst our people. Whereas next to this, we have to, once again, not only have channels and networks and distribution and production of quality foods, quality water, etc., right? But also law enforcement. They told us to say fuck the government, fuck the police, etc. Man, check this shit out. Yo, we need our American law enforcement. I'm talking about law enforcement from our American nations throughout our American territories, because all of this is ours. All of this is ours. And there is absolutely too much corruption at this point. And in my opinion, it's due to these black fanatics.
Absolutely.
Every black organization, they condemn us. What'd you say, man?
I just say absolutely. I was agreeing.
Yeah. The black people talk about their supposed slavery. Their ancestors agreed to be slaves and to be exiled criminals to our lands, to serve in all the penal colony establishments. They agreed to serve the way they agree to serve today. All those Black Lives Matter fanatics, for example, right? The leadership, they're from Africa. Look it up. I shared that years ago. Those are real life Africans that support all that transformer and all the goddamn smaggot activity. That's them. That's not us. But they brought it to our land, disrupting activities within our communities while taking away from our people that have already been indoctrinated due to eugenicist programming, eugenics influence, all this Walter Plecker shit, American Eugenics Society, etc., Negro Project. The Negro Project was designed for ethnocide. Let's deal with the facts and reality for ourselves as American people. Yo, I'm gonna conclude with this. Yo, we cannot allow these people to call us black and say, yo, you're black. Yo, someone says you're black, your only response is a simple fuck you. And mean that. Mean that in the most sincerest of terms. Fuck them. They're not us. They're not you. They're not for you. They literally told you that they are against you by blackening you out. That's ethnocide. Identify what's going on for truly what it is. It is ethnocide, which contributes to the ecocide and genocide, the destruction of our people, our land, so the foreigners can rename it all and claim it all for themselves while they're simultaneously destroying it all. Any concluding thoughts before we get out of here?
No, brother. Peace and bliss. Y'all have a great day. Peace to the chat as well. And yeah, have a good one.
No doubt.
Absolutely, Tony. Thank you for having me up. Y'all have a great day.
Absolutely. Much appreciation to our American people. Much appreciation to you, Sister Soul, Mama Chief. Yo, y'all stay healthy. Y'all stay strong. You know how I go. Coward season is over. Scalp season is on. Yo, to anyone interested in these documents that I'm showing here, I will try to upload all of these to a Google Drive. And I'll present that Google Drive on the next presentation. And just make sure you have a Google account so that you can access the Google Drive. Otherwise, you'll just simply be able to download it if you have anything other than a Google Drive. But anyway, that's just what it's about, yeah. You know what I mean? No more debating, okay? No more debating, no more arguing with these foreigners. Like that's a waste of energy. I need our American people to value their energy. Anytime someone calls you black and the mirror blatantly says you're brown, they are a liar. Anytime someone can look at themselves in the mirror and see brown and various shades of brown at that, and they want to identify themselves as black, yo, that is an example. That is a symptom of an obvious and absolute mental illness created by eugenicists, okay? I'm just going to leave it right there. But yes, that's what I will do is upload all of these documents, all these books into a single Google Drive, and most likely it will be updated because I have numerous directories of these old texts. And mind you, these old texts, they are hundreds to thousands of pages in length. All right. These are heavy books, so I would encourage you to have your own external hard drive or something of that nature. That way you can store it effectively. Also, for those that appreciate my contributions and things of this nature, in the description box is my Cash App. You know what I mean? It's not mandatory, of course. I'm not telling you to Cash App me or none of that. However, if you appreciate my presence and you like to see the continuation of my service, feel free to Cash App. It's all good. You know what I mean? I'm not greedy and I'm damn sure not a beggar. But you know, we dealing with a real world environment here. And also, I'm gonna put this on the table as well. For those of you all that are interested in business development and business ownership, me and Sister Soul, we're putting some things together. Whereas if you need, let's say, if you need guidance into doing it, we're going to make that available. Now, if you are already a business owner and you're interested in advanced information, we're going to make that available as well. I'm talking about business credit information, how to establish business credit. And it's literally a filing. All right. It's literally a filing. All right. So once again, like this information here, this is exclusively for our American people. So you're going to have to identify yourself correctly. All right. And at the same time, in order to identify yourself correctly, this is a network-based opportunity. So if Sister Soul is familiar with you and the other good people is familiar with you, then yes, I have no problem sharing to you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not dealing with no black fanatics, no Moors, no Hebrews, no foreigners. I do not support them at all. This is purely for our American people because everyone has conspired against us for the sabotage of us, all for the annihilation, extermination, and extinction of our people while they try to take our land. And we have an actual duty. We have an active duty to secure what is ours. As always, cowboy season is over. Scalp season is on. Y'all stay healthy. Y'all stay strong. I'll get with y'all in the next one. Y'all be good.